Netcasts you love.
From people you trust. This is TWiT.
Bandwidth for TWiT specials is provided by CacheFly at CACHEFLY.com. This is TWiT Live special number 330, recorded Tuesday, May 8th, 2018. Google I.O. This TWiT Live special brought to you by WordPress. Reach more customers when you build your business website on WordPress.com. Plans start at just $4 a month. Get 15% off any new plan at WordPress.com/twit. Welcome, everybody, to our live coverage of the Google I.O. Keynote, Google's developer conference, overlapping, unfortunately, exactly at the same time as Microsoft's. Microsoft's having a keynote right now, too. But, hey, don't worry. Exercise time has still not... We haven't missed it, right?
No. I hear Google actually hired the same professional stretcher that they had at the Microsoft keynote. So.
It's ridiculous. We will be covering this live, as we always do, by talking over the presenters. So if you want to hear an unfiltered version of this, of course, you should watch Google's stream. Our job here is to commentate, and annotate what they say.
It's a value add.
Yeah, you can continue to show the screen. Stay on the screen. Seriously, there's nothing to look at here, nothing to see here. It's just Padre, Father Robert Ballecer, the digital Jesuit, and myself, Leo Laporte.
Now, if you were at the Microsoft Build conference yesterday, they were giving away thousands of those buttons. So IoT buttons.
I wonder what the giveaway will be. You know, Google for a long time gave away way too much stuff at Google I.O., and it really caused a problem because people would go just for the gear, and really you want developers to go. People were serious about developing. Microsoft did not yesterday, although maybe they will today, talk about progressive web apps. That's also a big push from Google.
The only one who did was the one in a roundabout way.
There were
was
sessions.
The Starbucks CEO.
Yeah,
kind of.
That's kind of ironic.
Kind of.
All right, here's the countdown. Looks like a Tetris game. That's all the rage these days, those Bejeweled, Bedazzled clones. Bejeweled clones.
Oh. See, there's a whole generation that doesn't know what that is.
Snow. They've never seen snow.
Right?
Oh, zoom in.
We're in the Matrix.
You're now looking at a falsified 3D view of a
like this.
Imaginary traffic jam.
It's nice to start a little abstract.
Are they all autonomous? What are these little
for
cubes?
The audio listeners, there's a bunch of cubes that are becoming colored cubes.
Oh, and the stage is becoming colored to match. There's green, and there's red.
There we go.
Couldn't be red versus blue, I guess. Yellow.
This one hasn't happened yet. It's not the strongest narrative, but details aren't imperative.
It's not the strongest sedative?
Narrative.
Oh. It is kind of a strong sedative, though. Well, maybe that's just me. I'm jet lagged.
See, because once you build in the data, everything works smoothly.
You said they would talk about cars.
Yeah, there they are. Google for Education. They're making a huge push into that.
Yeah, and I think they saw the success there. Chromebooks have done so well now. 21% of all the laptops sold for schools are Chromebooks.
Dead Pixel.
Oh, yeah. What is the Cube theme? I mean, I don't know.
Are we the cubes?
Oh, they're giving it CPR. Seriously. They resuscitated
I'm not sure what's
the
happening
cube,
right
and it's yellow again.
It's groovy.
It's happy. It's boppy.
I'm sure there's a tie-in.
I have to say the audience looks kind of nonplussed by the whole affair. Whoop, it's turning into words.
Make good things together.
Make good things.
I get it. This is an app world.
And it's a developer conference. I always want to say that because the messaging really
gets lost sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, it's for developers. Microsoft seemed to want to talk more about ethics yesterday, but I think
that was a very strange.
That was Satya.
It was. We have an ethics AI, but we won't ever show it to you.
Yeah, because that would be unethical. And here comes Sundar Pichai, the CEO of Google, wearing a
he's our man.
Forest green synthetic turtleneck.
Good morning.
Zip-up
Cruelty-free.
Good morning.
as is his wont, underneath a white T-shirt.
Welcome to Google I/O. It's a beautiful
Great
day, I think
jeans.
warmer than last year. Hope you're all enjoying it. Thank you for joining us. I think we have over 7,000 people here today, as well as many, many people. We are live streaming this
And that's
to
the
many
reason why it's
locations
in the
around the world.
amphitheater, because they couldn't
So
get that
thank
in
you all
Moscow.
for joining us today. We have a lot to cover. But before we get started, I had one important business which I wanted to get over with. Towards the end of last year, it came to my attention that we had a major bug in one of our core products. It turns out
There's Seth Meyers.
we got the cheese wrong in our burger emoji.
Oh,
Anyway, we went hard to work. I never knew
That's
so
pretty
many
funny.
people cared about
But
where
you
the
and
cheese
Megan
is.
covered this.
yeah, we covered it.
We fixed it.
He tweeted
The
about it.
irony of
Sundar
the whole
tweeted
thing is
about
I'm
it.
a vegetarian in the first place.
Oh, and a lot of cheers from the vegans in the audience.
So we fixed it.
That's a good
Hopefully we
excuse.
got the cheese right, but as we were working on this, this came to my attention.
The beer is floating. I mean, the foam is floating in the air. We brought this up as well.
I don't even want to tell you the explanation the team gave me as to why the foam is floating above the beer.
The beer doesn't go all the way to
We
the top.
restored the natural laws of physics.
There we go. Okay, look, Satya Nadella, I love you, but this is how you do a funny open.
Yeah, much better. By the way, can you see how much better the
So
after
all
is than the
well.
before?
We
It
can get
really
back
is.
to business. We can talk about all the progress since last year's I/O. I'm sure all of you would agree it's been an extraordinary year on many fronts. I'm sure you've all felt it. We're at an important inflection point in computing, and it's exciting to be driving technology forward. And it's made us even more reflective about our responsibilities.
Oh, here's the
Expectations
ethics
for
speech
technology
again.
vary greatly depending on where you are in the world or what opportunities are available to you. For someone like me who grew up without a phone,
They'll have to do
I
this at
can
every
distinctly
developer
remember
conference this year.
how gaining access to
WWDC.
technology can make a difference in your lives.
In a way, I'm glad.
Yeah.
I don't want to see
And
it go on
we
and
see
on,
this in the
but
work we do around the world.
It's important.
You see it when someone gets access to a smartphone for the first time. And you can feel it in the huge demand for digital skills we see. That's why we've been so focused on bringing digital skills to communities around the world. So far, we have trained over 25 million people, and we expect that number to rise over 60 million in the next 5 years. It's clear technology can be a positive force, but it's equally clear that we just can't be wide-eyed about the innovations technology creates. There are very real and important questions being raised about the impact of these advances and the role they'll play in our lives. So we know the path ahead needs to be navigated carefully and deliberately, and we feel a deep sense of responsibility to get this right. That's the spirit with which we are approaching our core mission to make information more useful, accessible, and beneficial to society. I've always felt that we were fortunate as a company to have a timeless mission that feels as relevant today as when we started. And we're excited about how we can approach our mission with renewed vigor thanks to the progress we see in AI. AI is enabling this for us to do this in new ways, solving problems for our users around the world. Last year at Google I/O, we announced Google AI. It's a collection of our teams
You almost
and
sounded
efforts
like
to
you
bring
announced
the
googly
benefits
eyes,
of AI to everyone.
which would have been nice.
And we want this to work globally, so we are opening AI centers
Interesting,
around the
though.
world.
He's basically
AI is
taking the
going to
same
impact
tack.
many
It sounds a
fields.
lot like
Yeah. I
wanna
like
give you
Satya
AI will
Satya
save
Nadella.
us.
Yeah.
Healthcare
I don't like the
is
word
one of the
AI,
most
the
important
phrase
fields.
AI. I really
is
feel like
gonna
we're
transform.
not there yet. I think machine learning,
Last year,
I can
we
accept.
announced our work on diabetic retinopathy, which is a leading cause of blindness.
This
and
is
we
an
use
interesting,
deep learning to
story.
help doctors diagnose it earlier. And we've been running
Ironically,
field
this is
trials
the same
since
story
then
Microsoft told
at
yesterday.
Aravind and Sankara hospitals in India, and the field trials are going really well. We are bringing expert diagnosis to places where trained doctors are scarce.
It's almost surprising.
It turned out, using the same retinal scans,
And let's see if Google makes a play
there
for
were
the
things
industrial
which
as
humans
well,
quite
because that
didn't know
was
to look
Microsoft's
for.
big
This
pitch.
is
But our
almost
AI
exactly the same
systems
story
offer more
Microsoft
insights.
told yesterday.
Your same eye scan, turns out, holds information with which we can predict the 5-year risk of you having an adverse cardiovascular event, heart attack or strokes. So to me, the interesting thing is that more than what doctors could find in these eye scans, the machine learning systems offered newer insights. This could be the basis for a new non-invasive way to detect cardiovascular risk. And we just published the research, and we are going to be working to bring this to field trials with our partners. Another area where AI can help is to actually help doctors predict medical events.
Can you hear the birds?
Turns out doctors
It's
have a lot of
outdoors.
difficult
It's just
decisions
me.
to make.
No, I heard.
And for them, getting advance notice, say 24 to 48 hours before a patient is likely to get very sick, has a tremendous difference in the outcome. And so we've put our machine learning systems to work. We've been working with our partners using de-identified medical records. And it turns out if you go
So
and
this becomes a
analyze
Google
over
card.
100,000 data
I think you're
points
having a
per
heart attack.
patient,
Would you like me to call
more
you
than
an
any
Uber?
single doctor could analyze.
Actually, the Apple Watch has had some real
actually
success doing this. We keep hearing
quantitatively
stories about people
the
whose
chance
lives
of
have been
readmission
saved because the Apple Watch said your
24 to
heart rate is
48 hours
higher than it ought to be.
before, earlier than
There's another
traditional
one
methods.
earlier
It
this
gives
week.
doctors more time to act. We are publishing our paper on this later today, and we are looking forward to partnering with hospitals and medical institutions. Another area where AI can help is accessibility. We can make day-to-day use cases much easier for people. Let's take a common use case. You come back home in the night and you turn your TV on. It's not that uncommon to see two or more people passionately talking over each other. Imagine if you are hearing impaired and you're relying on closed captioning to understand what's going on. This is how it looks to you.
On a Danny Ainge level, but he's above a Colangelo level. In other words, he understands enough to...
They have those. That was sports
As
talk.
you can see,
For
it's
those of you who
gibberish. You can't make
don't
sense
know
of
what
what's
sports
going
is.
on.
This
So
is
we have
exactly the
machine
demo that
learning,
Microsoft
technology
did.
called
Yeah, two people
looking to
talking at the
listen.
same time.
That's 6 people
It
around a
not
table.
only
Yeah.
looks for
Overlapping.
audio cues,
Yeah.
but combines it with visual cues to clearly disambiguate the two voices. Let's see how that can work, maybe in YouTube.
not on a Danny Ainge level, but he's above a Colangelo level. In other words, he understands enough to...
You said it was all right to lose on purpose. You said it's all right to lose on purpose and advertise that to the fans. It's perfectly okay. You said it's okay. We have nothing else to talk about.
We have a lot to talk about.
I wouldn't cheer for that. I don't even know what that point of that is.
Cortano's was better because they were
But
talking
you can
at the
see
same
how
time.
we
Yeah.
And it was
use
getting all the
technology to work to
conversations.
make an important day-to-day use case profoundly better. The great
This
thing
is
about technology
this is
it's
showing the
constantly
reason
evolving.
why it's a bad idea
In
to
fact,
have your
we can even
developer
apply
at the
machine
same
learning
time as
to
the other guy.
200-year-old technology, Morse code, and make an impact in someone's quality
What if
of life.
Microsoft got the
Let's take
talking
a look.
points and they're like, well, we're just going to hit all those? And Microsoft had their big $25 million Microsoft for
Hi,
disabilities.
I am Tanya. This is my voice. I use Morse code by inputting dots and dashes with switches
Wow,
mounted
look at
near
that.
my head. As a very young child, I used a communication word board. I used a head stick to point to the words. It was very attractive to say the least. Once Morse
This
code
is
was
fantastic.
incorporated into my life,
It's kind
it
of
was
amazing.
a feeling of pure liberation and freedom.
See you later. Love you.
Wow.
I think that is why I like skydiving so much.
What?
It is the same kind of feeling. Through skydiving,
OMG.
I met Ken, the love of my life, and partner in crime.
It's always been very, very difficult just to find Morse code devices, to try Morse code.
This is why I had to create my own. With the
Oh
help
my
from
God.
Ken, I have a voice
They
and
even
more
built it
independence
themselves?
in my daily life.
That's impressive.
But most people don't have Ken.
Pretty cute.
It is our hope that we can collaborate with the Gboard team to help people who want to tap into the freedom of using Morse code.
Gboard is the Google keyboard. What we have discovered working on Gboard is that there are entire pockets of population in the world, and when I say pockets, it's like tens of millions of people who have never had access to a keyboard that works in their own language. With Tanya, we've built support in Gboard for Morse code. So it's an input modality that allows you to type in Morse code and get
she's
text
using
out
Google
with
Pixel
predictions,
2 phone
suggestions. I think it's a beautiful example
as the
of
computer
where
for
machine
this.
learning can really assist someone in a way that a normal keyboard without artificial intelligence wouldn't be able to.
I am very excited to continue on this journey. Many people will benefit from this, and that thrills me to no end.
Here's why I don't like the use of artificial intelligence. I mean, that seems to me just a computer programming,
Basically.
right? It's not
a real. I'm not exactly sure where the AI aspect comes in.
It's programming.
It's a very inspiring story.
It's just a
we are
marketing
very
term at
excited
this
to have Tanya and Ken join us today.
Look at that. She's in the front row there. That's awesome. Oh, and there's their son.
Tanya and Ken are actually developers. They really worked with our team to harness the power of actually predictive
that's what's really cool.
In Gmode.
That's the empowering part about
in the
all of
context
this.
of Morse code. I'm really excited that Gboard with Morse code is available in beta later today. You know, it's great to reinvent products with AI. Gboard is actually a great example of it. Every single day, we offer users, and users choose over 8 billion autocorrections each and every day.
So autocorrection is now AI.
Another example of one
Yeah,
of our
see, that's
core
what
products, which we are redesigning with AI.
Crazy about the use of
is
AI.
Gmail.
It's really turning
We just
into
had
marketing.
a new, fresher look for Gmail, a recent redesign. Hope you're all enjoying
They'll
using
grant
it.
you things like the
We are
auto
bringing
response.
Another feature to
Right.
Gmail.
Well, that it's context
really-
aware.
Yeah,
Smart
it's still not.
So as the name suggests,
Is it AI?
we use machine learning to
Machine learning
start
I'll go with.
suggesting phrases for you as you type. All you need to do is to hit tab and keep auto-completing.
No.
This is how I write all my emails.
Oh man. Okay. So
In this case, it understands the
You can do
subject
this
is
on your
Taco
phone right now
Tuesday.
with
It
autocomplete
suggests
for texting.
Chips, salsa, guacamole.
yeah, but how to know what
It takes care
time?
of mundane things like addresses.
Oh, this is
I mean,
amazing.
if it's
so
tied
that
into
you
your
don't
calendar,
need to worry about it. You can
then I
actually
can see
focus
that.
on what you
And that's
want to type.
Cortana does.
I've been loving using it. I've been sending a lot more emails to the company. Not sure what the company thinks of it, but it's been great.
Probably they're all
rolling out
coming to
Smart
Taco
Compose
Tuesday.
to all our users this month, and hope you enjoy using it as well.
Thanks.
You can get this new Gmail if you just go to your Gmail, click the gear, and
Another
select
product which we
at the
built
very
from the
top,
ground up
use
using
the
AI
new Gmail.
is Google Photos. Works amazingly well and at scale. You know, if you click on one of these photos, what we call the photo viewer experience, where you're looking at one photo at a time, so that you understand the scale, every single day, there are over 5 billion photos viewed by our users, each and every day. So we want to use AI to help in those moments. So we are bringing a new feature called Suggested Actions, essentially suggesting smart actions right in context for you to act on. Say, for example, you went to a wedding and you're looking through those pictures. We understand your friend Lisa is in the picture, and we offer to share the 3 photos with Lisa, and with one click, those
We talked
photos
about
can
this
be
last
sent
year.
to her. So the anxiety where everyone is
I've
trying
been
to get
using
the
it.
picture on
It's
their
not
phone,
quite as
I think
automatic
it's
as they
better.
make it feel.
Say, for example, if the photo in the same wedding, if the photos are underexposed, our AI systems offer a suggestion to fix the brightness right there.
I also don't know if I really
One
want
tap,
to auto-share
and
my
we can
photos.
fix the
Yeah.
brightness for you.
It's nice.
Or if you took a picture
I
of a
do it with my
document
Lisa
which you wanna
because
save for later,
I have pictures of her. She always
we
says,
can
"Well, send me all the
recognize,
pictures you
convert the
take of me."
document to PDF.
So in families and stuff, it's, you know, big cheer for that one.
Make it much easier for you to use later. You know, we want to make all these simple cases delightful. By the way, AI can also deliver unexpected moments. So for example, if you have this cute picture of your kid, we can make it better. We can drop the background color, pop the
I don't have any of these features.
Okay, that I'd actually kind of use.
I want my AI to turn on. Am I not? Is it
have
not?
a very special memory.
Do you have the
Something
latest
in
version,
black and
Leo?
white, maybe of your mother and grandmother.
I
We can
think so.
recreate that moment in color and make that moment even more.
Wow. Okay, that's pretty impressive. Automatic colorization, and it looks pretty good. I mean, that did anyway.
All these features are going to be rolling out to Google Photos users in the next couple of months.
I don't have it.
Dang it.
The reason we are able to do
I
this
did get a new Gboard
is
today.
because for a while
Now I
we've
know
been
why.
investing in the scale of our computational architecture. This is why last year we talked about our tensor processing units. These are special purpose machine learning chips. These are driving all the
Microsoft,
product improvements.
yesterday talked
you're
about their
seeing today.
FPGAs
We've
for
made it available to
ML.
our cloud customers.
Mostly for
Since the
intelligent
last year,
edge
we've been hard at
IoT
work,
applications.
And today, I'm excited to announce our next generation TPU 3.0.
And I expected there would be response.
These chips are so powerful that for the first time, we've had to introduce liquid cooling in our data centers. And we put these chips in the form of giant pods. Each of these pods is now 8x more powerful than last year. It's well over 100 petaflops. And
So
this is what
Google's
allows
eating
us to
pods
develop
now.
better models,
Well over
larger
100
models,
petaflops
more
is
accurate models,
well over.
and helps us tackle even bigger problems. And one of the biggest problems we are tackling with AI is the Google Assistant. Our vision for the perfect assistant is that it's naturally conversational, it's there when you need it, so that you can get things done in the real world. And we are working to make it even better. We want the assistant to be something that's natural and comfortable to talk to. And to do that, we need to start with the foundation of the Google Assistant, the voice. Today, that's how most users interact with the assistant. Our current voice is codenamed Holly. She was a real person. She spent months in our studio, and then we stitched those recordings together to create voice. But 18 months ago, we announced a breakthrough from our DeepMind team called WaveNet. Unlike the current systems, WaveNet actually models the underlying raw audio to create a more natural voice.
We've been talking about this on
Closer
Google.
to how
This Week in
humans speak.
Google. It's pretty
Pitch,
impressive.
the pace, even all the pauses that convey meaning.
It actually makes
We
a
want to get all
big
of that
difference.
right. So we've worked hard with WaveNet, and we are adding, as of today, 6 new voices to the Google Assistant.
Oh, boy.
Let's have them say hello.
Good morning,
Can I
everyone.
get that?
I'm your Google Assistant.
Welcome to Shoreline Amphitheater.
We hope you'll enjoy Google I/O.
These are pretty good.
Back to you, Sundar.
Back to you,
Sundar.
Sundar.
Our goal is one day to get the right accents, languages, and dialects right globally. WaveNet can make this much easier. With this technology, we started wondering who we could get into the studio with an amazing voice.
Patrick Stewart.
Take a look.
Couscous, a type of North African
Pharrell.
semolina in granules made from crushed durum wheat. I want a puppy with sweet eyes and a fluffy tail who likes my haikus. Don't we all? Happy birthday to the person whose birthday it is. Happy birthday to you. John Legend. He would probably tell you he don't want to brag, but he'll be the best assistant you
It's
ever
John
had.
Legend. It's not
tell me where you
Pharrell.
live?
I'm sorry. I
You can
apologize.
find me on all kinds of devices.
I always confuse
Phones,
them.
Google Homes, and if I'm lucky,
Pharrell's the one in the hat.
in your heart.
Right, he's always got the hat.
John Legend's the guy married to Chrissy Teigen. I really should know the difference.
That's right. John Legend's voice is
I don't
coming
think
to
I've
the
actually
assistant.
seen
Clearly, he
John
didn't
Legend
spend
before.
all the time in the studio answering every
I don't
possible
understand
question
how they're. Yeah,
that
that's
you could ask.
straight out of the
But
Amazon
WaveNet
Echo
allowed
ad.
us
I
to
don't understand how they're
shorten
going
the
to do
studio
that.
time,
Can they?
and the model can actually
I want
capture the richness of his
Cardi
voice.
B in my
His voice
my
will be
Google
coming later
Assistant.
this year in certain contexts, so that you can get responses like this.
Certain
Good
contexts.
morning, Sundar. Right now in Mountain View, it's 65 with clear skies. Today, it's predicted to be 75 degrees and sunny.
So that's John
At 10
Legend's
a.m.,
voice?
you have an event called Google I.O. Keynote. Then, at 1 p.m., you have margaritas. Have a wonderful day.
That's interesting. I mean, that's it's not a perfect voice, but it's a natural, it's a real voice.
It's a real voice.
I'm really excited we can drive advances like this with AI. We are doing a lot more with the Google Assistant. And to talk to you a little bit more
Maybe
about
I will
it, let me
get
invite
Scarlett
Scott onto the
Johansson in my
stage.
ear someday.
ScarJo?
Hey Google, call
wait,
Maddie.
Okay, dialing
It's
now.
Sia, I think.
See, I feel like I should know these people.
I know. Well, obviously I failed miserably earlier. So.
Text Carol.
Can you text Carol for me too? Hey Google.
That's Chrissy Teigen.
Yo, Google.
Kevin, that was great, but we haven't made Yo Google work yet, so you have to say hey.
Hey Google. Hey Google.
I think Yo Google should work.
Hey Google, play the next episode.
Play The Crown on Netflix. All Channing Tatum movies.
Okay.
Yo, Google.
That was great. Can we just get one where you say, hey Google?
Hey Google, find my phone.
Finding now.
Is it Kevin Durant?
That's KD.
An NBA superstar? Golden State Warriors.
Well,
Got it right?
Yesterday at Build, they had Jim
Okay,
Brown.
let's just go with Yo Google then. I'm sure
No,
that
they did
engineers would
not.
love to
Did
update everything.
Yo.
Hi, what can I do for you?
Google is really the leading voice assistant at this point, I think. Although Amazon's Echo is the most used by far, I would guess. Scott
2 years
Huffman.
ago, we announced the Google Assistant
Takes the
right
stage.
here at I.O. Today, the Assistant is available on over 500 million devices, including phones, speakers, headphones, TVs, watches, and more. It's available in cars from more than 40 auto brands, and it works with over 5,000 connected home devices, from dishwashers to doorbells. And people around the world are using it every single day.
You know, when you
For
think
example,
about it,
we launched the Assistant
Google
in
really
India
should be
last
winning
year,
the voice
and the
assistant war
response has been incredible.
with their market penetration.
Daily
And
usage there
everyone
has
just has it
tripled
if you have an Android
since the
phone.
beginning
But
of the year.
they're not.
Yeah.
Now, by the end of this
don't
year,
talk to my phone
the
that
Assistant will
often.
support
No, not
30
really.
languages and be available in 80 countries. So we've made great
I think they're coming on
progress,
strong with the,
but we're
with the
just
Google
getting
Home.
started. Today, we're going to share with you some
By the way, this
important
Scott's
ways
the VP
that the
engineering
Assistant
for
is becoming
Google
more
Assistant,
naturally
obviously.
conversational and visually assistive in order to help you do more and get time back.
This is a
Now, as you
category
heard
that's
from
only
Sundar,
going to grow and
voices
get
that
better.
you
I mean,
can choose from to make the Google Assistant your own are an important aspect of making the conversation with your assistant more natural. But to be a great conversation partner, the assistant needs to deeply understand the social dynamics of conversation. For example, let's be honest, it gets a little annoying to say, "Hey Google," every time
Yes.
I want to get my assistant's
Yeah,
attention.
it does.
yes.
This grandma, who you might have seen on YouTube,
the other
is
hand,
definitely feeling that way.
You don't
I know,
want it responding all the. Oh, this is funny. This is so funny. Everybody's seen this.
Hey, Google. Okay, Google. You want to know what is the weather? Tomorrow.
In Flagler Beach tomorrow, there will be showers with a high of 65 and a low of 56.
She's getting up.
Well, the assistant eventually worked for her, but it shouldn't be so hard. Now you won't have to say, "Hey Google," every time.
Can I say yo?
Check this out. Hey Google, did the Warriors win?
Oh, Amazon
yes, the
did this with
Warriors
their
won
Echo.
118 to 92 last Sunday against the Pelicans.
This is
Nice.
continuing a
When's their next
conversation.
game?
The Warriors' next game is today at 7:30 p.m., where they will be playing the Pelicans.
Great. It's going to be fun to
Terrible
watch
name for a
tonight.
basketball team,
Hey,
the
remind me to
Pelicans.
find my Kevin Durant
Just gotta
jersey
get
when I
used to
get
it.
home.
Named after a bunch of dirt birds.
Sure, I'll remind you when you get home.
So the idea is
Now
you say,
notice that
"Hey
I was
Google,"
able to
once
have a
to
natural
activate it.
back
in a
and
minute.
forth conversation with my assistant without having to repeat "Hey Google" for every follow-up.
Okay, that's
request.
an advancement.
Even more
But as I
helpful,
said, Echo
my
did it
assistant could
2 months ago,
understand
3 months
when
ago.
I was talking to it versus when I was talking to all of you. We call this continued conversation, and it's been a top feature request. You'll be able to turn it on in the coming weeks.
This is the thing I hate about Google I/O is coming weeks
All right.
often is coming months.
So let's say
Before the
it's
next
almost
Google
game
I/O,
time.
we'll
Yeah.
probably get this.
Hey Google, turn on the Warriors game and start the popcorn maker.
They love the
Sure,
Warriors.
here's the Golden State Warriors game on YouTube TV and
Well, they
turning
did
the
have
popcorn
KD.
maker on.
Oh, and can you dim the lights in the family room and in the kitchen?
Sure, dimming the lights in the family room and in the kitchen.
Now
It's
you'll
weird
notice that in
hearing all
both
these
of
birds.
these examples, I ask for multiple things
like
at
it.
once.
I do
Something
too.
that feels really natural for us, but it's very difficult for computers to understand. It's something we call
By the way, this is another
multiple
thing.
actions, and we're rolling out this capability
understand
in the
that
assistant
Microsoft
now.
talked about yesterday
Now
with
you
the,
might think, come
the
on.
Cortana integration with Echo.
Just look for the
Is that
end.
it would
Except you have to say,
It's not
Alexa,
always so straightforward.
tell Cortana.
you have to say, "Hey Cortana, hey Alexa, hey." Yeah, it's very
Even
confusing.
though it has the word "and," it's not two requests. It's actually just one.
So do you have to turn
But
off the
here,
conversation?
Even
Google,
though
I'm
it
done
looks
with you.
very similar, the assistant has to break
Yeah,
it
when is it-
apart.
When
to
does it
form
stop
the
responding?
response. In linguistics, it's called coordination reduction. Now, multiple actions can get way more complicated. So just for fun, hey Google, who was the governor of California when Kevin Durant was drafted, and what team drafted him?
Wow, that's
Arnold
hard.
Schwarzenegger was the governor in 2007.
That is not.
Kevin
That is
Durant was drafted by
non-trivial.
the Seattle
bad.
Supersonics.
It has to understand
Right,
that
in case you were wondering.
Schwarzenegger was not drafted, but Durant
right.
was, and that's quite
All right.
impressive.
So
That actually
next,
is amazing.
They've done some work on the
we've
back end
also
there.
been working on improving the conversation with the Google
To
Assistant.
me, I would say
for
that's
families.
AI.
Last fall,
Okay,
we
yeah, I'll
launched
go for
our
that.
family experience
At least
for the Google
for a
Assistant.
first level
It
AI.
provides
Yeah.
family-friendly
Yeah, it's not-
games, activities,
It's not
and stories.
general artificial
We
intelligence.
continue to grow our library, and families have listened to over 130,000 hours of children's stories in the last 2 months alone.
That's so sad.
Now, as we continue to improve
I don't know
the
if you want to tout
experience
that.
for
That's
families,
so
a concern that we've heard
sad.
from many parents, including people on the team who have
Just
children,
ask Google Home.
is
I'm busy.
learning to be
Parents abandoned
bossy
their
and
children for
demanding when they can
130,000
just say,
hours this
"Hey,
last
Google,"
quarter.
to ask for anything they need. It's not a simple area, but one step that we've been working on is something we call Pretty Please. Some of the parents on the team have been testing it out with their families. Take a look.
Wait.
Hey Google, talk to VoiceTron.
Daddy, you forgot to say please. Okay, Google, please tell me a story.
Thanks for saying please.
Play, freeze, dance, please.
What a nice way to
This
ask
is a
me.
big issue right now. Is that kids seem to be
Thanks for
getting
asking so
ruder
nicely.
because they're used to talking to
Once
machines.
upon
But
a time, there was
I'm
a
not
wacky
sure
walrus.
So you're trying to teach them proper
to be
social
polite to
interaction?
machines.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's. I think that
You're
that's.
very polite.
I think that's wrong. I think a kid could distinguish between a machine
So the
and a
assistant
human and should be polite to
understands
humans.
and responds to positive conversation with polite
I
reinforcement.
guess I don't know.
Now, we've been consulting with
conflicted on this
families
one.
and child
gonna
development
release a
experts,
new app where
and we
you
plan
don't
to
say
offer
please, you
Pretty
say do it
Please as an
now.
option for families later this year.
But a lot of parents say, you know,
So,
you got to be polite to
New
the
voices
Echo.
for your
But do
assistant,
you really?
But you don't.
conversation, multiple actions, and Pretty Please, AI is helping us make big strides so everyone can have a more natural conversation with their assistant. And now I'd like to introduce Lillian, who's going to share some exciting things that we're doing, bringing voice and visual assistants together.
So people will be speaking to their virtual assistants more politely than most CEOs speak to
Right.
their actual assistants. Oh, good.
Well, thanks, Scott, and good morning, everyone. Over the last couple of years, the Assistant has been focused on the verbal conversation that you can have with Google. Today, we're going to unveil a new visual canvas for the Google Assistant across screens. This will bring the simplicity of voice together with a rich visual experience. Now, I'm going to invite Maggie to come up because we're going to be switching to a lot of live demos. We gave you an early look at our new smart displays
the
at
live
CES
demo,
in
where
January.
things can get really
We're working with
interesting.
some of the best consumer electronic brands. And today, I'm excited to announce that the first smart displays will go on sale in July. Today, I'll show you some of the ways that this new device
So this
can
is
make
their
your day
version of the,
easier by
Amazon
bringing the
the Echo
simplicity of
Show.
voice with the glanceability of a touchscreen.
And of course,
So let's switch over to the live demos.
we saw
now,
some of
this
these
is
from
one of the
Microsoft
Lenovo
too, didn't
smart
we?
displays.
Oh no, this is the one we
the
saw.
ambient screen integrates
that's
with
my
Google
confusion.
Photos and greets
This
me with
is the
pictures
one
of
we
my
saw
kids,
at,
Bella and Hudson. Those are really my kids.
The Lenovo
Best way to
display.
start my day every morning. Now, because the device is controlled by voice, I can watch videos or live TV. with
I'm
just
really
a
trying
simple
hard not to
command.
comment on the
Makes
fact
it
that she
so
seems to be
easy
wearing
to enjoy my favorite
Jeans
shows
with
while
a
multitasking
skirt. But I
around
think
the
it's
house.
just a long shirt under a
Google.
leather jacket.
Let's watch Jimmy Kimmel Live.
Or leatherette, sorry.
Okay, playing Jimmy Kimmel Live on
Yeah, I like
YouTube
the,
TV.
this is actually something I like a lot about the show. This Lenovo device looks a lot better than the Echo Show, but I really like the screen on the Echo Show.
I had a funny thing happen.
I get the
This is like
Fallon
the
monologue.
kitchen countertop TV
Right.
type thing.
This morning.
So that's right. On
This is
YouTube TV, you will
bigger
be
screen
able
than
to
the
watch
7-inch show.
all of these amazing shows from
And see that
local
weird
news, live
twist
sports,
in the
and much
back?
more,
That's
and they
the
will be
stand, how it
available
stands
on
up.
Yeah,
our
so it just
displays.
folds out. So
Yeah, it's kind of
Now,
an
of
odd
course,
looking.
you can also
It
enjoy
looks
all
like
the
you've
normal
creased your
content from
device.
YouTube,
You've
including
creased
how-to
my device.
videos, music, and original shows like the brand new series Cobra Kai, which we started binge watching this week because it's so good. Now, cooking is another
that was
instance
lost
where the
on me.
blend
I'm
of
sorry.
voice
Cobra
and
Kai.
visuals is
They
incredibly
brought back
useful.
Karate Kid
Nick and
on
I are
YouTube,
always
right?
looking for
Oh.
family-friendly
It's like an
recipes.
aged Karate Kid.
Okay.
Hey, Google, show me recipes for pizza bombs.
Pizza
Sure,
bongs?
here's some recipes.
Pizza
You can choose the first one
bomb.
from Tasty. That one looks good.
He said pizza
See, all the
bomb?
recipe details come right up, and we can just tap to
It's a
start
new
cooking.
product category.
Sure, here's tasty.
She's wearing. They're both wearing.
So seeing a video demonstration
Android
along
Wear
with the
watches,
spoken
oddly
instructions
enough.
is a total game changer for cooking, especially when you have your hands full.
Cottage biscuit.
Thanks, Maggie.
Pizza bombs. Which you have right after you have the pizza bomb.
Exactly, yeah.
So we showed you a couple of ways that smart displays can make life at home easier, but there are so many more. From staying in touch with family with broadcast and duo video calling, to keeping an eye on your home with all of our other smart home partners, to seeing in advance what the morning commute's like with Google Maps. We're thoughtfully
I do that,
integrating the best
but on
of
my
Google
phone,
and working
'cause
with
I
developers
need
and
my
partners
car.
all around
We use
the
maps
world
like crazy
to
in
bring voice
Japan.
and visuals
I have to
together
say, I
in a
wish Duo
completely
were
new way for the
not
home.
tied to a phone number because unlike
Yeah.
FaceTime or
Now, inspired
you know,
by
it's
the smart
it's
display
it's tied to that one
experiences,
phone.
We've also been working to reimagine the assistant experience on
Trying
the
to get my
screen
mom
that's
to use
with
it,
us
but
all the
because
time.
she can only use it on her phone,
Our
and
mobile phone.
it's
Right.
not as useful to her.
So I'm going to give you a sneak peek
She
into
wants to
how
use
the
it on her
assistant on
iPad
the
or
phone is becoming more immersive,
Computer.
interactive, and proactive. So we're going to switch to another live demo.
Okay, so she's starting up her
Hey, Google,
phone.
tell me about Camila Cabello.
According to Wikipedia, Carla Camila Cabello Estrabao is an American singer and songwriter.
So as you can see, we're taking full advantage of the screen to give you a rich and immersive
I like that.
response. Here's another. Turn down the heat.
Turn down for what?
Sure, cooling the living room down.
And for smart
Heat.
home requests,
You're
what you
not
can see
gonna
here
get
is
the
we're
part.
bringing the controls right into your
So it
fingertips.
shows the thermostat and then
And
gives you a
here's one of my
control
favorites.
on the screen, which is nice.
Hey, Google, order my
So basically,
usual
this
from
is cutting
Starbucks.
down on the number of steps you would have after a voice prompt.
Hello, welcome back to Starbucks.
And here's the
That's
Starbucks
one
menu.
tall,
Businesses will
non-fat
love
latte
this.
with caramel drizzle. Anything else?
So no thanks.
I'm drinking a triple tall
And are
breve
you picking
latte
that
right
up
now.
at the
It's a lot
usual
better.
place?
So I'm going to tap yes.
And now we know
Okay,
where she
your
goes for
order's
Starbucks.
The usual place.
See you soon.
Mountain View, of course.
Yeah.
Okay, now if they could do this for maps, because right now if you use the Google prompts to get to a place, there's like
So we're
3
excited
key
to share that
presses
we've been
before
working
it
with
starts
Starbucks,
navigation.
Dunkin' Donuts, DoorDash, Domino's, and many other partners on a new food pickup and delivery experience for the Google Assistant. We have already started rolling some of these out with many more partners coming soon.
Man, if I can get slushies and frozen burritos from 7-Eleven
Now,
on my
rich
Google
and
Assistant,
interactive
There is a
responses
I'm never
7-Eleven
leaving that.
right here.
I'm never leaving the house
But my
again.
ideal assistant should also be able to help in a proactive way. So when I'm in the assistant now and swipe up, I now get a visual snapshot of my day. I see helpful suggestions based on the time, my
Okay.
location, and even
Okay.
my recent interactions
like
with
Beautiful.
the
It says it's a
assistant.
beautiful day, Lillian.
I also have my reminders, packages,
Yeah, this is
and
basically
even notes and lists
Google Now.
organized
Yeah,
and
it's- but,
accessible right here.
It's the
I
UI
love
of
the
Google Now
convenience of having
improved.
all these details helpfully curated and so easy to get to. Now, this new visual experience for the phone is thoughtfully designed with AI at the core. It will launch on Android this summer and iOS later this year.
See, they keep saying things like AI at the core. I could see where it might be used. I'd like them to actually explain what they
Right.
mean by that.
Now,
She has to
sometimes
use
the
to-
assistant
she
can
actually used to
be
work
more
at
helpful
Skype
by
and Bing.
having a lower visual profile.
case
So
you're
like when you're
curious.
in the car, let's
Currently
say you
Director
stay
of Product
focused on
Management at
driving.
Google.
So let's say I'm heading home from work. I have Google Maps showing me the fastest route during rush hour traffic. Hey Google, send Nick my ETA and play some hip hop.
Okay, letting Nick know you're 20 minutes
This
away
is a
and
big
check out this
leap
hip-hop
forward
music station on YouTube.
in natural language if it can take these kind of
Right.
complicated
So
sentences,
it's so
parse them, and
convenient to share
do
my ETA
several
with
things
my
with one.
husband,
That's
just a simple voice
what
command.
humans want.
I'm
But it's
excited
always
to
been
share that the
historically
assistant
very
will come
difficult.
to
Well, it has
navigation
to be able to
in Google Maps
extrapolate.
this
Like if
summer.
you're driving and you say send my ETA, it's got to know, oh, you've got a meeting with so-and-so on your calendar. That's the person I should send to.
So across smart displays, phones, and in Maps, this gives you a sense of how we're making the Google Assistant more visually assistive. sensing
She still
when to
has
respond
on
with
her
voice
LinkedIn page
and when
a
to
picture
show
of her
a more immersive and interactive
demonstrating
experience.
Skype.
And with that, I'll turn it back to Sundar. Thank you.
I hope she didn't design the new Skype because that does not bode well.
Nightmare. Well, that's probably why she left and went to Google. Smart move, Lillian. Smart move. Sundar Pichai back on stage.
Thanks, Lillian. It's great to see the progress with the assistant. As I said earlier, our vision for our assistant is to help you get things
Already
done.
10 times better than the
Turns
Microsoft
out,
Keynote.
a big part of
More
getting
organized,
things done
more to the point,
is
better
making a
stuff to
phone
show.
call.
And yet,
You wanna get an oil change
nothing
schedule,
really new.
maybe
At least
call a
nothing we can
plumber
use
in the
yet.
middle of the week,
Although I'm
or even
excited about the
schedule a
voices.
haircut appointment. You know, we are working hard to help users through those moments. We want to connect users to businesses in a good way. Businesses actually rely a lot on this, but even in the US, 60%
This is
of
something
small
Microsoft's,
businesses don't have an
Facebook's been
online
trying to do
booking
with their
system
bots,
set up.
messengers,
think AI
Apple
can help
Messenger
with
for
this
business. There's all the companies are trying
So
to do
let's
this.
go back to this example.
I mean, that was
Let's say you
Microsoft's
wanna
big
ask
pitch
Google
last year. It's
to
bots.
make you a haircut
Bots are the new
appointment
apps.
on Tuesday between 10 and noon. What happens?
But they are making a
is
differentiation
the
between
Google
bots and
Assistant
AI.
makes the call
Right.
seamlessly in the
I think
background
what they
for you.
really mean when they're saying
So
AI
what you're
is a
going to
bot.
hear
Well, this is
the
interesting.
Google Assistant actually calling a real salon to schedule the
It's
appointment.
going to
for
make
you.
the appointment.
Let's listen.
Receptionist, my salon is going to
So how
hate
can I
this.
help you? Hi, I'm calling to book a women's haircut for a client. I'm looking for something on May 3rd.
Whoa, wait, what?
I like the
Give me 1 second. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Oh,
What time are
wow.
you looking for around? At 12 p.m. We do not have a 12 p.m. available. The closest we have to that is a 1:15. Do you have anything between 10 a.m. and 12 p.m.? Depending on what service
And,
you would like. What
12
service
p.m.
are you looking for? Just a woman's haircut for now?
Oh my gosh, this
Okay,
is going
we
to
have a 10
revolutionize
o'clock.
There's no
robocalls.
way this is how it
10
works.
a.m. is fine. Okay, what's her first name? The first name is Lisa. Okay, perfect. So I will see
So
Lisa at 10 o'clock on May
many
3rd. Okay,
prank
great. Thanks. Great. Have a
calls.
great day. Bye.
Oh, I want this so
That's-
badly, but I don't think this.
I don't
I
trust
can't
it.
believe that this actually would work. They got to really be careful about over-promising on this
That
stuff.
was a real call you just heard.
That is
The amazing
mind-boggling.
thing is the assistant can actually understand the nuances of
And by the way,
conversation.
if robocallers
We've been
get this,
working
we're
on this
I know,
dead.
that's what I was just saying.
for many
There has to be
years.
a disclaimer at the
It's
beginning.
called
This is an
Google Duplex.
automated call because otherwise you have
It
to
should
human.
say,
All our
hello, I'm an
investments
automated
over the
assistant
years
calling
in
for.
natural language
Yeah.
understanding, deep learning, text-to-speech.
And what they don't show is,
By the
well, what
way,
if something
when you're
goes
done,
wrong?
the
Because the
assistant
thing
can
will
give
just
you a
not
confirmation
it will then lose
notification
it.
saying your appointment has been taken care of.
Yeah,
Let
wait till
me
the
give you
human
another
on the other end of the
example.
phone is like, what are you talking
Let's say you
about?
want to call a restaurant, but maybe it's a small restaurant which is not easily available to book
But I should
online.
point out, I mean, even if this
call
doesn't work
actually goes a
perfectly
bit
now, it will at
differently
some
than
point, and
expected.
people
So,
should be
take a
worried
listen.
because this is replacing humans.
It's an interesting demo.
At some point, it won't
yeah,
be
look
calling
forward.
a real human at the hair salon.
Hi, I'd like to reserve a table for Wednesday the 7th.
For 7 people?
And you know what? When the restaurant gets
it's
its
for
own
4
bot.
people.
Okay,
you'll
watch
have
that.
people?
Because
When?
she misunderstood Wednesday the 7th.
Next Wednesday at 6 p.m.
Oh, actually, we reserve for after 5 people. For 4 people, you can come.
How long is the wait usually to be seated?
There's no way it knew that.
When tomorrow or weekday or?
For next Wednesday, the 7th.
I love how
no,
it's
it's not too
inserting,
busy.
Yeah.
You can come for 4 people, okay?
Oh, I gotcha. Thanks.
Bye-bye.
I don't like the faking human part.
Wow. Well, but I'm pretty impressed.
I'm very impressed, but
that was a very challenging
It's
call.
unnerving.
That was a real call. We have many of these examples where the calls quite don't go
I wanna
as
hear-
expected.
That's what I want to
But
hear
the
more of
assistant
those.
understands the context, the nuance.
The accent calls.
You'd ask for
Just-
wait times in this
well,
case.
but also
and
she said, oh, you
handle the
can't make a
interaction
reservation for
Right.
4 people.
Look, we're still developing this technology, and we
Yeah,
actually want to work
we're
hard
still
to get
developing
this
it.
right, get the user experience and the expectation right for both businesses and users. But done correctly, it'll save time for people and generate a lot of value for businesses. We really want it to work in cases, say if you're a busy parent in the morning and your kid is sick and you want to call for a doctor's appointment. So we're going to work hard to get this right. There is a more straightforward case where we can roll this out sooner, where, for example, every single day we get a lot of queries into Google where people are wondering on the opening and closing hours of businesses. But it gets tricky during holidays, and businesses get a lot of calls. So we as Google can make just that one phone call.
It's interesting they're selling this as a benefit for businesses as opposed to end users.
And it will save a small business countless number of calls. So we're going to get moments like this right and make the experience better for users. This is going to be rolling out as an experiment in the coming weeks, and so stay tuned. A common theme across all this is we are working hard to give users back time. We've always been obsessed about that at Google. Search is obsessed about getting users to answers quickly and giving them what they want. Which brings me to another area, digital well-being. Based on our research, we know that people feel tethered to their devices. I'm sure it resonates with all of you. There is increasing social pressure to respond to anything you get right away. People are anxious to stay up to date with all the information out there. They have FOMO, fear of missing out. We think there's a chance for us to
on
do
the
better.
screen, there's a giant FOMO parenthesis, fear of missing out.
In the most anxiety-producing font I could find. Yeah. JOMO?
What is that?
So we think
the
we can
joy
really
of
help
missing out.
users
I'm ready
with
for
digital
JOMO.
well-being.
Bring
This
back
is going to be a
JOMO.
deep, ongoing effort
I have
across
JOMO.
all our products and platforms.
I'd miss out all the time.
Well, like when I checked out last year for
can help
what,
users
a month and a half,
How
I
was
was
that?
so happy.
That was JOMO.
Four ways.
Very happy.
We want to help you understand your habits, focus on what
So
matters.
this is we thought we had heard that they would talk about this. This was one of the
And
rumors
above all, find balance with your family.
that
helping you
Google was
unplug.
going to respond to this thing that people, Apple's shareholders said to Apple, you've got to do something about the addictiveness of your iPhone.
Dashboard. In Android, we're actually going to give you full visibility into how you're spending your time.
I already use an Android
apps
program
where
called
you're
Instant
spending
that
your
does this.
time,
It's actually very
the
useful.
number of times you unlocked your phone on a given day, the number of notifications you got, and we're going to really help you deal with this better. Apps can also help. YouTube is going to take the lead, and if you choose to do so, it'll actually remind you to take a break. So for example, if you've been watching YouTube for a while,
Evidently Carson knows Lucas
maybe
the
it'll
spider.
show up and say, hey, it's time to take a break. YouTube is also going to work to combine if users
are we
want
gonna do
to
Take a break and watch Lucas the Spider, or take a break from Lucas the Spider?
Take a break, bringing
It's unclear.
Lucas with you.
Oh,
So that
okay.
if you have 4 notification, it comes
Are we
to
going to
you
do this
Have
at
I done-
TWiT?
during the day.
Do we do a reminder in the middle
Take
of
a
shows?
break,
We'll
yeah.
take a break.
All these features
Notification
this week.
Digest on YouTube this week. This is Google responding, of course, to kind of obliquely to the kid issue
Doing a
on
lot of work
YouTube.
in this area. Family Link is a great example, where we provide parents tools to help manage kids' screen time.
See, this
I
is a
think this
great
an important
feature
part of it.
that very
we
few
want to
people
do
use.
more here,
Right.
Because
We
very
wanna
few people know how to
equip
set
kids
it up.
Make smart decisions. So we have
This
a
is
new
always the
approach, a
challenge
Google
for
design
all
approach. It's
technology
called
companies.
Be Internet Awesome.
How do you add
To help
features
kids become
and make
safe
them
explorers of the digital
accessible,
world.
transparent?
We want
Awesome
kids to be
feature, but if the
secure,
parent doesn't know how to
kind,
use it,
mindful,
then
and
it's
online.
useless.
And we are pledging to train an additional 5 million kids this coming year. All these tools you're seeing is launching with our digital well-being site later today. Another area where we feel tremendous responsibility is news.
Oh, here we
News
go.
is core to our mission. Also, at times like this, it's more important than ever
Chances
to
that
support
AI will be the answer?
quality journalism. It's foundational to how
This
democracies
is, of course,
work.
Apple's focus
Always
with
been fond of
buying
news.
texture and beefing up
Growing
news.
up in India, I have distinct memory of, I used to wait for the physical newspaper. Turns out my grandfather used to stay right next to us. There was a clear hierarchy. He got his hands on the newspaper first, then my dad, and then my brother and I would go at it.
Oh, that's funny.
I was mainly interested in the sports section at that time, but over time I developed a fondness for news, and it stayed with me even till today. It is challenging time for the news industry. Recently, we launched Google News Initiative, and we committed $300 million over the next 3 years.
This is Yeah,
We want to
we've been
work
talking
with
a little bit about this
organizations and journalists to help
Twig as
develop
well.
innovative products and programs
Facebook's
that
doing
help
something
the
similar.
industry. We've also had a product here for a long time, Google News. It was actually built right
So if
after
Google's
9/11.
not doing an exercise break,
It
but
was a
my watch,
20% project
my
by one of
Samsung
our
Gears just told me I
engineers
should do a
who
torso
wanted to
twist.
see
I've been
news from a
inactive for an
variety
hour.
of sources
My watch told me to do
to
that about
better
3 minutes
understand
ago,
what
but it's a
happened.
cheap watch, so I don't think it's really
Since
time
then,
to do
if
it.
anything, the volume and diversity of content has only grown.
Okay, did my
I
torso
think there is
twist.
more
Oh, it's
great
telling me how.
journalism being produced today than ever before.
That's a
It's
Google
also
product.
true that
No, it's
people
Samsung.
turn to Google in times of need, and we have a responsibility to provide that information. This is why we have reimagined our news product. We are using AI to
there we
bring
go.
forward
Thank you.
the best of what journalism
They've been talking
has to
about this.
offer.
They have a newsstand product,
wanna
which is a
give users
confusing mixture of
quality
news and
sources that they
magazine
trust,
subscriptions. It's
But we
like
want to
how
build a
you
product
Google
that works for
Play
publishers.
newsstand.
Above
You-
all, we want to make sure
One of the things
we're
that was
giving them
rumored is they would
deeper
kind of
insight
deprecate
and a
the phrase
fuller
Google Play
perspective
on this. So
about any topic they are interested
this one
in.
is just newsstand.
Really
right?
excited to announce
Or
the new Google News.
Google
And
News,
here's
okay.
Tristan to tell you more.
The new Google News, which is it like the old Google News?
They won't say fake news, but they're going
Right.
to address fake news.
Thank you, Sundar. With the new Google News, we set out to help you do 3 things. First, keep up with the news
Tristan
you care
Upstill
about.
is a distinguished
Second,
engineer at
understand
Google
the full story.
and head of the
And
news
finally,
products.
enjoy and support the sources you love. After all, without news
last part
publishers
is to get
and
the
the
buy-in
quality
of the
journalism
publishers.
they produce,
Well,
we
yeah,
have
that
nothing
so
to
they
show
have
you.
to, right? And Sundar was
So let's
saying,
start
we've
with
got to
how making
support
it easier
good
for you
journalism.
to
Right.
keep
You
up
want
with
it, you
the
have to pay
news
for it.
you care about. As soon as I open Google News, right at the top,
It's
I
funny
get a
because I
briefing
still use
with the
Google
top
News, but I
5
feel like I'm the
stories
only
I need
one
to
who
know
does.
right
Kind
now.
of do every once in a
As
while.
I move past my
it'll have a
briefing,
story I'll
there are
like.
more stories
Bing's
selected
really good
just
because that's
for
my
me.
search engine, so that always has
Our
stuff I
AI
want.
What do you have, a Windows
constantly
phone?
reads the fire hose of the web
No, I
for
just
you.
use the big
The
website.
millions
You're
of
using
articles, videos,
Bing is my search
podcasts,
engine.
and comments
Something
being
no one
published
ever said,
every day
ever.
And assembles
I
the
like
key
to
things
spread
you
around
need
my
to
data.
know. Google News also pulls in local voices and news about events in my area. It's this kind of information that makes me feel connected to my
Yeah,
community.
it's currently called News and Weather.
This article from the Chronicle
This is
makes
one
me
of
wonder
those
how
coming
long it
soon.
would take to ride across this new Bay Bridge. What's cool is I didn't have to tell the app that I follow politics, love to bike, or want information about the Bay Area. It works right out of the box.
Because
And
it
That's why I'm
it
getting an
already
article
knows that.
about Rihanna's Pope outfit at the Met Gala.
Yes, it caused
And at
a
any
fervor.
point, I can
Did it?
jump in and say whether I
How,
wanna
how's
see
the
less
Vatican
or more
responding to
for
that?
a given
She's wearing a
publisher or
diamond-covered mitre.
We had
And
one of
whenever
our
I wanna
priests,
see
Jim
what the
Martin,
rest of
there.
the world is
And
reading,
Really?
I
He
can
was
switch over
tweeting, he
to
goes,
headlines
people
to
keep
see
coming
the
up to
top
me and saying
stories
that
are
is the
generating the
best
most coverage
outfit I've seen
right
tonight.
now around
His
the
priest
world.
outfit?
He was in
or
his
her?
clerics.
So let's keep going. You can see there are lots of
But he was wearing a
big,
nice
gorgeous
robe. He wasn't
images
just
to
wearing a
make
black
this
shirt
app
and
just
a collar.
the upscale clerics.
and it's a
upscale
truly great
clerics.
video experience.
I don't have
That
those.
is a nice
Let's take a
outfit.
look.
Again, it's with a sport ball.
This brings you all the latest videos from YouTube and around the web.
It kind of already does
All
that.
of our
This is a
design
nicer
choices
format,
focus
though.
on
The
keeping
UI
the
does
app
look
light,
more advanced.
easy, fast, and fun. Our guiding principle is to let the stories speak for themselves.
I'm a
Pretty cool,
big
right?
consumer of news, and I would love to see an improved news product for sure.
That whole part
I
makes...
just got a new
There you
Google
go.
Play
Throughout
newsstand.
the app,
Wow,
the new
that was fast.
Google
Yeah,
Materials.
that whole make the
The
story speak for
entire app
itself,
is
though,
built using
that's
Material
subjective.
Design,
Yeah.
an adaptable, unified design system that's been uniquely tailored by Google.
Meet the new Google
Later today,
headlines,
you'll hear more about
opinions,
this and how you can use
analysis. I'm
material
looking at the
themes in
app
your
right
products.
now. Oh, this is nice.
We're also excited to introduce a new visual format we call newscasts. You are not going to see these in any
Yeah, they just
other
pushed
news
this
app.
out in your if you have an Android
Newscasts
device.
are kind of like a preview of the story, and they make it easier for you to get a feel for what's going on. Check out this one on the Star Wars movie.
No,
Here we're using the
no,
latest
no
developments
spoilers.
in natural language understanding
I'm
to bring
unspoilable.
together everything. From the
I still
song,
haven't seen an
music trailer,
Infinity War,
to
so
news
if you say
articles,
Thanos,
to quotes, and
I'm outta
podcasts
here.
And more in a fresh
I actually
presentation
spoiled it
that
on
looks
Windows Weekly.
absolutely
Got a lot of
great
hate
on
mail.
your phone.
No, I didn't.
Newscasts give
Maybe
me
I
an
did.
easy way to get the
Go watch
basics and decide where I want to dive in more deeply. And sometimes I even discover things things I never would have found out otherwise.
A Palo Alto police chief once worked as a Star Wars
Stories I care
extra.
about most or the ones that are really complex.
So
I want
glad.
to be able to jump in and see many different
It
perspectives.
You know what
says-
this feels like, though? This feels a lot like Twitter's
So let's
Moments.
talk about our second goal
Yeah.
for Google News.
It looks like Moments.
Understanding the full story.
Top 5 stories right now.
Today, it takes a lot of work to broaden your point of view and understand a news story in depth. With Google News,
Tap
we set out
for
to make
perspectives
that effortless.
and context. Oh, this
Full
is actually
coverage
quite nicely
is an
done.
invitation to learn more. It gives a complete picture of a story in terms of how it's being reported from a variety of sources and in a variety of formats.
Actually, I do like that.
So I apologize if I'm confusing you, because I'm looking at Newsstand, which has been updated. My Google News has yet to be
This
updated.
technique enables us to map
You got
relationships
a new
between
Google News and
entities
weather?
and understand the people, places, and things in a story right as it evolves. We apply this to the
Newsstand is
deluge of
nicely
information
updated.
published to
I'm
the web at
actually
any
quite
given
liking it.
moment and then organize it around storylines, all in real time.
Oh, yeah, they just call it
This is
news.
by far
Okay.
the most powerful
So it's no
feature
longer
of the app
Newsstand. That's been replaced.
provides a
And I
whole
presume
new
that's what
way
they're
to
talking
dig into
about
the
here.
news.
Yeah, it
Take
looks
a look
like
at how
that.
full coverage works with the recent power outage in Puerto Rico. There are so many questions I had about this story, like, how did we get here? Could it have been prevented? And are things actually getting better? We built full coverage to help make sense of it all in one place. We start out with the set of top headlines that tell me what happened, and then start to organize around the key story aspects using our real-time event understanding. For news events that have played out like this one over weeks and months, you can understand the origin of developments by looking at our timeline of the key moments. And while the recovery has begun, we can clearly see there's still a long way to go. There are also certain questions we're all asking about a story, and we pull those out so you don't have to hunt for the answers. We know context and perspective come from many places, so we show you tweets from relevant voices and opinions,
So there's the
analysis,
tweets
and
aspect.
fact checks to help you understand
Really
the
is like
story that
Moments.
one level
Question
deeper.
is it tweets from people who you follow?
In each case,
tweets
our
from people
AI is
who have the
highlighting
same
why
interest
this is
as
an
you?
important piece of information and what unique value it brings.
Well, it doesn't. Does it know who you follow?
Now, when
That's
I
a good
use full
question.
coverage, I find that
Do
I can
they-
build a
do they
huge
grab
amount of
data from
knowledge
Twitter?
on the topics I care about. It's a true 360-degree view that goes well beyond what I get from just scanning a few headlines. On top of this, our research shows that having a productive
I like this new
conversation
Google
or
News app,
debate
actually. I
requires
really do.
everyone to have access to the same information, which is why everyone sees the same content in full coverage for a topic. It's an unfiltered view of events from a range of trusted news sources.
So it's not customized to your interests when you go to full
No,
coverage.
yeah.
So what you get on the front page is something customized to your interests. But if you tap
So I gotta
see
say,
full coverage
I
on
love
that
these
story,
And
you'll
these are
get
just a few of the things we
You'll
think
get
something
yeah,
not
dig deep.
customized,
exciting.
which is interesting.
But as we mentioned before, none of this would exist without the
There's
great
the Twitter
journalism
stuff.
newsrooms produce every day. Which brings us to our final goal, helping you enjoy and support the news sources you love.
Right after our coverage today, we will go to This Week in Google. I'm hoping Jeff Jarvis will join us. He's there right now, along with Jason Howell.
And browse and
Stacey
discover new
Higginbotham
ones,
is also
including over
at
1,000
Build.
magazine titles.
She's going to be joining us.
Wired,
It's
National
very hard.
Geographic,
A hard
and
week for
People,
tech
which all
journalists.
look great on my phone.
This is a very nice
I can
app.
follow publications
And a little
like USA
preemptive, because
Today by directly
Apple has
clicking
been,
the star
you know,
icon.
Apple acquired Texture. They've been really
if there's a publication
saying
I
they're
wanna
going to beef up
subscribe
Apple
to,
News, and they
say
haven't
the
done
Washington
anything yet.
Post,
And this is
we make it
somewhat
dead
preemptive.
simple. No more forms.
Well, they want to
credit
tell the
card
publishers,
numbers,
look,
or
come
new
with us.
passwords.
You'll get paid. You'll get more
Well, here it
exposure.
is. You can
Signed in
subscribe to
with
the
your
Washington
Google
Post
account,
right in.
You're set.
Yeah, I see LA
When you subscribe
Times.
to a publisher, we think you should have easy access to your
And that really should
content
be the message. If you
everywhere.
want quality
And
journalism,
this
if
is
you want
why
journalism
we
that's
developed
not as
Subscribe with
slanted as
Google.
others, you need to support
Subscribe with
it.
Google
Subscription
enables you to use your
sale.
Google account to access your paid content everywhere.
And mixed
Across all
into
platforms
the
and devices
paid
on
content
Google
is
Search,
free
Google
content.
News,
So I'm
and
seeing
publishers'
Wired
own
for
sites.
$1 a month.
Right.
But also
We built
next to it,
this
the
in
free
collaboration
MIT
with over
Technology
60
Review.
publishers
This is
around
good.
the world, and it will be rolling out in the coming weeks.
I think this is exactly right.
Thank you. And this is one of the many steps we're taking to make it easier to access dependable, high-quality information when and where it matters most.
You're showing it on a tablet, which is unless
so
that
that's
was
the
a
new Google
Chromebook.
News. It helps you
tablet.
keep up with the news you care about with your briefing and newscasts, understand the full story using full coverage,
Man,
and
those
enjoy and
Android Wear
support the
watches
news
look
sources you
huge.
love by reading, following, and subscribing.
Look at it. It's
space age.
And
It's
now
like
for
yours.
the best news
It's the
of
size
all,
of his hand.
we're rolling out on Android, iOS, and the web in 127 countries starting today.
Yeah, I just got it. Let me look on.
I think
It's
so,
interesting
too.
they're doing this on
Pretty cool.
iOS as well.
It will be available to everyone next week. At Google, we know that getting accurate and timely information into people's hands and building and supporting high-quality journalism is more important than it ever has been right
I think
now.
Jeff Jarvis will
And
be
we
very
are
happy
totally committed to doing our part.
with this,
That's a
but
great
we'll find
message,
out
right?
later.
We can't wait
later
to
in the
continue
day.
on this journey with you. And now I'm excited to introduce Dave to tell you more about what's going on in Android.
I'm sorry, Dave. I can't help you.
Android started with a simple goal of
So
bringing open
now we'll hear about
standards to
Android
the
P. We
mobile
want to thank our friends at
Today,
WordPress, by the way,
it is the
sponsors for our
most popular mobile
live
operating system in
coverage
the world.
of the Google I/O keynote. WordPress. If you visited my site, you know that WordPress is my it's kind of my cornerstone of my presence online. It's the center. It's where I start, and you should too. Facebook, no. You can link to a Facebook account. You can link to a Twitter account, but you should have your own website online, and that's what I use WordPress for. It gives me the freedom and flexibility to share my voice, my work, my way. You should make your site your own. When you build it on WordPress.com, you don't have to be a coder. You don't have to do the design even. They have all the tools you need, including some beautiful, hundreds of beautiful templates, and a great customer support team that's there 24/7, Monday through Friday, weekends too. WordPress has great e-commerce options as well, ranging from simple, a very effective buy button, to a complete online store. Plans start at just $4 a month, and when you're ready to expand with your business's online reach, WordPress makes it easy with built-in SEO, social sharing, and specialized plugins to meet your needs. You know, 30% of all websites run on WordPress. There's a good reason for it. Get started today. 15% off any new plan purchase at WordPress.com/twit. WordPress.com/twit for 15% off your brand new website. We thank WordPress for supporting our Twit Live specials. WordPress.com/twit. We now return to the commercial being played on stage for Android at Google I/O.
Any guess on the new code word? Pumpkin?
What is P? What is? I don't think we'll find out today. Usually we find out in the fall when they release it.
Hi, everyone. It's great to be here at Google I/O 2018. I think
Dave Burke's a great presenter, as you can tell.
clearly all developer conferences should be held outside. It's pretty damn nice out here. Now, it's 10 years ago when we launched the first Android phone, the T-Mobile G1.
It
was with a simple but bold idea.
Yeah, I do
to build
too.
a mobile platform.
A little disappointing.
Doesn't work anymore.
Yeah.
I think something corroded or exploded
Today,
inside.
that idea is thriving.
It was running
Our
Cupcake.
partners have launched tens of thousands of smartphones.
It was awesome,
used
though.
by
I mean, I'd
billions
have to
of
reset it
people
about 12 times a
all around
day.
the world.
It's not a great phone.
And through this journey, we've
HTC
seen Android
developed
become
a
more
design.
than just a smartphone operating
With a
system.
sliding keyboard.
Powering new categories of computing, including wearables,
It was basically
TV,
their MDA
auto, AR,
updated for
Yeah.
IoT.
Well, remember, they released it shortly after the iPhone came out, and they had gone back to the drawing board. They saw the iPhone and said, "Oh, we can't release what we're going to release. We need to start
And as
all
Sundar
over."
mentioned, the world is now on the precipice of another shift. AI is going to profoundly change industries like healthcare and transport, and is already starting to change ours. And this brings me to the new version of Android we're working on, Android P. Android P is an important first step towards this vision of AI at the core of the operating system. In fact, AI underpins the first of three themes in this release, which are intelligence, simplicity, and digital well-being. So starting with intelligence, we believe smartphones should be smarter. They should learn from you, and they should adapt to you. Technologies such as on-device machine learning can learn your usage patterns and automatically anticipate your next action, saving you time. And because it runs on device,
See, this is the
data is kept
intelligent
private
edge
to your
theme.
phone.
The whole idea that not everything
take a
should
look
be
at
sent
some
back
examples
to the cloud, to the core.
And another big thing that Microsoft talked about yesterday.
That was their big thing, yeah.
In pretty much every survey of smartphone users, you'll see battery life as the top concern. And I don't know about you, but this is my version of Maslow's hierarchy of needs.
Dave's hierarchy, right underneath the lowest physiological needs, survival, are Wi-Fi and battery.
Where it's draining faster than normal, leaving you to run to the charger.
You can't have self-actualization without good Wi-Fi.
And the battery.
To
You need the
work
battery.
on
Battery
a new
life, yeah.
feature we call adaptive battery. It's designed to give you a more consistent battery experience. Adaptive Battery uses on-device machine learning to figure out which apps you'll use in the next few hours and which you won't use until later, if at all, today. And then with this understanding, the operating system adapts to your usage patterns so that it spends battery only on the apps and services that you care about. And the results are really promising. We're seeing a 30% reduction in CPU wake-ups for apps in general. And this combined with other performance improvements, including running background processes on the small CPU cores, is resulting in an increase in battery for many
This is
users.
going to disappoint some app developers who make their apps so they continue running and continue pulling ads after you've shut them down.
Well, it's one of the advantages of Android, right? Apple's very aggressive about shutting stuff down in the background.
Given the current lighting conditions.
Really, only Apple can run in the background for any length of time.
They don't take into account your personal preferences and environment. So often what happens is you then need to manually adjust the brightness slider, resulting in the screen later becoming too bright or too dim.
I never use the auto brightness, do you?
Yeah.
I hate it. It always chooses wrong
machine
for
learning
me.
feature we call adaptive brightness.
This is funny because this is a
Adaptive
hardware
brightness
feature in
learns
every
how
phone I
you like
know.
to set the brightness slider, given the ambient lighting, and then does it for you in a power-efficient way.
So this might
You'll
respond
literally see the
to your
brightness
issues.
slider
Right.
move as the phone adapts to your preferences.
And
it's
I thought this
extremely
was.
effective. In fact,
I thought this
we're
was
seeing
the
almost
default.
half
In
of
every
our test
phone,
users
I did.
now make
But it's like
fewer
for me,
manual
it's always
brightness
too
adjustments.
dark when it's bright and it's
Right.
too light when it's dark.
Right.
We're also making the UI more intelligent. Last year, we introduced the concept of predicted apps, a feature that places the next apps the OS
I've ended up using this
anticipates
way more than I
on the
thought I
path
would.
you'd normally follow to launch that app.
Yeah, see, I don't use
And it's
the
very
Google
effective,
Launcher.
with
The
an
Google,
almost 60% prediction rate.
you have to
With
use that
Android
to get
P,
this.
We're going beyond simply predicting the next app to launch to predicting the next action you want to take.
That's interesting.
We call this feature App Actions. So let's take a look at how it works. At the top of the launcher, you can see two actions. One to
Oh,
call my
look.
sister Fiona,
Oh,
and
look.
another to start a workout
big
on
button to
Strava
call
for my
Fiona.
evening run.
It can
So what's
guilt you into
happening here
calling
is that
mom.
the
I like
actions
this.
are being predicted based on my usage patterns. The phone is adapting to me.
I like it that
trying to
Google is
help me
just
get
kind
to
of
my next app
unabashedly saying,
more
"Yeah, we
quickly.
know everything there is to know
As
about you,
another
and we're
example,
gonna
if I
and we're gonna
connect
take
my
advantage."
headphones,
They might as well,
I'll
right?
surface an action to
We're gonna take
resume the
advantage of it.
album I was listening to.
Wait, is that call Lady Gaga
To
or
support
play
app
Lady
actions,
Gaga?
Developers just need to add an
Depends
actions.xml
if you have her
file
phone number.
to their app. And then actions surface not just in the launcher, but in Smart Text Selection, the Play Store, Google Search, and the Assistant. Take Google Search. We're experimenting with different ways to surface actions for apps you've installed and use a lot.
This is
For
something
example,
they've
I'm a
promised
big Fandango
forever.
user. So when I search for the new
Remember
Avengers
the
movie,
famous
Infinity
pants
War,
store
I get, in
story?
addition to regular
I
suggestions,
can't remember who
I get
told
an
that.
action to the
It was
Fandango
pre-Sundar
app to buy
Pichai, but that you'd be walking down the street and it would know you needed new pants and say, "Hey, there's a
simple,
deal on
but
pants
powerful idea
right next
for
door."
Providing deep links into the app given your context. But even more powerful is bringing part of the app UI to the user right there and then.
So we're an
call
hour
this feature
in to the event now. I have to say it feels a lot more lively than the Microsoft
Very
event.
much so.
Developers to define
Although the first half of the
interactive snippets
Microsoft
of their app
keynote was
UI
pretty
that can
good.
be
It didn't
surfaced
start
in different
dragging until
places in
the
the
end.
OS. In Android P, we're laying the groundwork by showing slices first in search. So let's take a look.
They
Let's
really
say
do need to
I'm out
replace
and
P
about
quick.
and I need to get a ride to work. If I type Lyft into the Google Search app, I now see a slice from the Lyft app installed on my
Wow.
phone. Lyft is using the Slice
So
API
this is progressive web
array
apps
of UI
effectively.
templates to render a slice of their app in the context of search. And then Lyft is able to give me the price for my trip to work, and the slice
wonder
is
if this works with
interactive,
apps you
so I
don't
can
have
order the ride
installed.
directly from it. Pretty nice.
Wow.
I mean,
The
that
slice
would be the
templates are
promise. It would
versatile,
just stream
so
the
developers
part that
can
you
offer
need.
everything from playing a video to, say, checking into a hotel. As another example, if I search for Hawaii, I'll see a slice from Google Photos with my vacation picture.
Of course, that means that the developers need to make their
with some
apps
amazing
sliceable.
partners on
Of course,
app actions and
yeah.
slices. And we'll be opening an early access program to
you go.
developers more broadly next month. So we're excited to see how actions, and in particular slices, will enable a dynamic two-way experience.
Makes me feel like
where
I'm
the
using
app's
my
UI can
Pixel wrong.
intelligently show up in
I
content.
should really be not using a third-party
So
launcher.
that's some of the ways that we're making Android more
Wait, you
intelligent
loaded a
by
third
teaching the
party to
operating
I always
system
use third-party
to adapt to the
launchers,
user.
Pure experience?
Machine
Well,
learning
that
is
way
a
all my Android
powerful
phones look
tool,
alike.
But it can also be intimidating and costly for developers to learn and apply. And we want to make these tools accessible and easy to use to those who have little or no expertise in machine learning. So today, I'm really excited to announce MLKit, a new set of APIs available through Firebase.
Here we go.
With MLKit, you get on-device APIs to text recognition, face detection, image labeling.
So these are
and a
drag
lot
and drop
more.
modules for developers who want to
MLKit
use
also supports
the
smart
face
replies
detection.
in there.
Incredible, yeah.
Google's cloud
Landmark
ML
detection.
technology.
Nice.
That I like.
Architecturally, you can think of MLKit as providing ready-to-use models built on TensorFlow Lite and optimized for mobile. And best of all, MLKit is cross-platform. So it runs on
iOS
both
too.
Android and iOS.
Oh, yikes.
Shots fired.
Yikes. Well, there's always been a problem for Google because they're not
We're working with an early set of
front and center on iOS. You know, you have to actually launch a Google app. So
for example,
if developers put Google into their apps, how much Apple can do about that?
To scan nutritional information, and MLKit's custom model APIs to automatically classify 200 different foods through the camera. You'll hear more about
Hot dog?
MLKit at the
Not
developer
hot dog.
keynote later today. So we're excited about making your smartphone more intelligent, but it's also important to us that the technology fades to the back. One of our key goals over the last few years has been to evolve Android's UI to be simpler and more approachable, both for the current set of users and the next billion Android users. With Android P, we put a special emphasis on simplicity by addressing many pain points where we thought, and you told us, the experience was more complicated than it ought to be. And you'll find these improvements on any device that adopts Google's version of the Android UI, such as Google Pixel and Android One devices.
Unless they load another launcher.
Let me walk you through a few live demos.
Just put it
on my
back to the
phone.
Pixel launcher.
What could possibly go wrong in front of 7,000 people in an amphitheater? Okay. Now, as part of Android P,
I wish they'd put
we're
news
introducing a
instead
new
of
system
Google
navigation
Now
that we've been working
on the
on
left swipe.
more than a
Now
year
is
now.
so useless.
And the new design makes Android's
become
multitasking more
so.
approachable and easier to understand. And the first striking thing you'll notice is the single clean home button. And the design recognizes a trend towards smaller screen bezels and places an emphasis on gestures over multiple buttons at the edge of the screen. So when I swipe up, I'm immediately brought to the overview where I can resume apps I've recently used.
That's just me.
I also get 5 predicted apps at the bottom of the screen to save me time. Now, if I continue to swipe up, or I swipe up a second time, I get to all apps. So architecturally, what we've done is combine the all apps and overview spaces
That's a good
into
idea.
one. And the swipe up gesture works
What
from
launcher do I
anywhere,
have?
no matter what app I'm in, so that I can
No,
quickly
you don't.
get
You don't
back
have
to
that
all apps
predictive
overview
thing yet.
without losing the context I'm in. And if you prefer, you can also use the quick scrub gesture by sliding the home button sideways to scroll through your recent set of apps, like so.
That's like a timeline.
Now, one of the nice things about the larger horizontal overview is that the app content is now glanceable, so you can easily refer back to information in a previous app. Even more is we've extended smart text selection to work in overview. So for example, if I tap anywhere on the phrase "the killers," all of the phrase will be selected for me, and then I get an action to listen to it on Spotify, like so. And
Okay, so they've
extended
made
smart
basically
text
everything on the
selection's
page
neural
active.
network to recognize more entities like sports teams and music artists and flight codes and more. I've been using this new navigation system for the last month, and I absolutely love it. It's a much faster, more powerful way to multitask on the go. So changing how navigation works, it's a pretty big deal. But sometimes small changes can make a big difference, too. So take volume control. And we've all been there. You try to turn down the volume before a video starts, but instead you turn down the ringer volume, and then the video blasts everyone around you.
Happened
so
to
how
me
are we
last
fixing
night.
it? Well, you can see the new simplified volume
That's why my
controls
phone's
here.
always on silent.
They're vertical and located beside the hardware buttons, so they're intuitive.
Wait.
But the key difference is that the slider now adjusts the media volume by default, because that's the thing you want to change most often.
Yes.
And for the ringer volume, all you really care about
Thank
is
you.
on, silent, and
It only
off.
took 10 editions.
We've also
Figure
greatly
that one out.
simplified rotation. And if you're like me and hate your device rotating at the wrong time, you'll love this feature. So right now, I'm in the locked rotation mode. And let me launch an app. And you'll notice that when I rotate the device, a new rotation button appears on the nav bar. And then I can just tap on it and rotate under my own.
Because I always have that turned off. I don't want
love-
it to happen automatically, but It'd be nice to not have to turn it back on again.
I love fighting my phone
Yeah,
for
yeah.
orientation.
So that's a quick tour of
That's
some
fun.
of the ways that we've
Nice.
simplified
This is,
user
of
experience
course,
in
Android
P.
P.
And there's lots more. Everything from a redesigned work profile to better screenshots to improved notifications management and more. Speaking of notifications management, we want to give you more control over demands on your attention. And this highlights a concept that Sundar alluded to earlier, making it easier to move between your digital life and your real life. To learn more about this important area and our third theme, let me hand over to Samir. Thanks.
A new feature that will lock your phone until you walk a kilometer or something like that. Something simple.
Hi, everyone.
Hi.
On a recent family vacation, my partner asked if she could see my phone right after we got to our hotel room. She took it from me, walked over to the hotel safe, locked it inside,
Nice.
and turned and looked
You're
me
right.
right in the
I
eye
think,
and said,
Robert, you may
"You
have.
get this back in 7 days when we leave."
Luckily,
walk a
those
mile.
hotel safes are not secure at all.
I was
So
shocked.
I hacked the safe.
I was kind of angry. But after a few hours,
Just try
something
8
pretty cool
zeros.
happened.
It always works.
Oh, I wish
Without
you hadn't
all
given
the
this
distractions
idea to
from
my
my phone,
wife.
I was actually able to disconnect.
You're going to lose
be
your phone.
fully
Leo.
present, and I ended up having a wonderful family vacation.
Okay, I'm down
But
with
it's not
this.
just me.
No, I'm not.
Our team
Because I
has
need to be
heard
forced.
so
I will
many
not
stories
voluntarily
She knows that
give
if
up my
she
time.
did this to
trying
me,
find
I'll
the right
do it back
balance
to
with
her.
technology. As you heard from Sundar,
Cody in the chat room says,
helping
and now
people
you
with their
lost your
digital
job.
well-being is more important to us than ever. People tell us a lot of the time they spend on their phone is really useful, but some of it they wish they'd spent on other things. In fact, we found over 70% of people want more help striking this balance.
I'm buying what you're selling.
So
Tell me
we've
how
been
you're going to
working
solve.
hard to add key capabilities right into Android to help
Samir
people
used to
find
work for
the balance
Jawbone,
with
so
technology
he's
that they're looking for.
a fitness fella.
Yeah.
One of the first things we focused on was helping you understand
Vice President
your
of Product
habits.
Management at Google has been for a couple
Android
of years.
P will show you a dashboard of how you're spending time on your device. As you saw earlier, you can see
Yes,
how
Dr.
much
Mom.
time you spent in apps, how many times you've unlocked your device today, and how many notifications you've received. And you can drill
I
down
think a lot
on
of
any
people might
these
be
things.
shocked
For example,
by that data.
here's my
How many
Gmail data
times
from
they've
Saturday.
unlocked their phone.
And when I saw this, it did make
Well,
me
this is
wonder
funny.
whether I should
Samir
have
was
been on
at
my
Google
email
in
all
charge of
weekend,
commerce
but that's
and was
kind of
hired
the point of
away
the dashboard.
by Jawbone.
And then brought
Now,
back.
then came back to
when
Google.
you're engaging is
When
one
Jawbone
part of understanding.
Kind of fell apart.
But what you're engaging with in apps is equally
He was
important.
briefly the
It's
president
like watching
of Jawbone.
TV. Catching up on your favorite shows at the end of a long day
It's
can
gotta be
feel
embarrassing.
pretty good.
Leave Google,
Watching
go
an
to Jawbone and
infomercial
say,
might
"Can I
leave
have
you
my
wondering
job
why
back?"
you didn't
Life
do something
experience,
else
Leo.
instead. Many developers call this concept meaningful engagement, and we've been working closely with many of our developer partners who share the goal of helping people use technology in healthy ways. So in Android P, developers can link to more detailed breakdowns of how you're spending time in their app from this new dashboard. For example, YouTube will be adding a deep link where you can see total watch time across mobile
That's going to get
and
embarrassing
desktop,
really fast.
and access many of the helpful tools.
I hate that in games when they say you
Sundar
played this
shared
game for
earlier.
4,892 hours.
You might want to consider getting up.
I hate it when they do that.
Android P also gives you control
A lot of Xbox games
to
do
help
that.
you
It's
manage
You know what this
how
means? It means I'm just going to
and
have a
when you
second
spend
phone
time
where I
on
do
your
all my embarrassing stuff.
Maybe you have an app that you love, but you're spending more time in it than you realized. Android P lets you set time limits on apps and will nudge you when you're close to your limit that it's time to do something else.
Okay.
And for the rest
Not
of the
locking
day,
you out,
that app icon
but a
is
healthy
grayed out
reminder.
Nudges
to
you.
remind you of
Maybe.
your goal.
Okay.
People have also told us they struggle to be fully present for the dinner that they're at or the meeting that they're attending.
That's true.
Because the notifications they get on their device can be distracting.
That's true.
And too tempting to resist. And come on, we've all been there. So
Come
we're
on.
making improvements to do not disturb mode, to silence not just the phone calls and texts, but also the visual interruptions that pop up on your screen. To make Do Not Disturb even easier to use, we've created a new gesture that we've affectionately codenamed
The middle
The
finger.
F you. Shush.
If you turn
What's
your phone
the
over
shush
on the
gesture?
table, it automatically enters Do Not Disturb, so you can focus
Yeah, this
on
is
being
another
present.
Moto.
Right. This
X
has
feature,
been around
right?
for a while.
Vibrations
Yeah.
or other distractions.
They've incorporated a number of features from the Motorola phones.
Of course,
Shush.
in an emergency, we all want to make sure we're still reachable by the key people in our lives, like your partner or your child's school. Android P will help you set up a list of contacts that can always get through to you with a phone call, even if Do Not Disturb is turned on.
This has always been in
Finally,
this phone. I don't.
We heard from people that they often
Hasn't
check
it?
their phone right before
Oh, maybe
going
in
to
your
bed.
launcher, your skin.
And
Maybe
before
that's,
you know it,
or
an
maybe
hour
it's
or
a
two has
Samsung
slipped
thing. I know
by.
it's on iOS.
And honestly, this happens to me at least once a week. Getting a
Is
good
that
night's
him?
sleep
Who is that?
critical. And technology
That's
should
some guy
help
who's
you
not
with
going
this,
back to bed.
not
Once you turn
prevent
that
it from
screen
happening.
on,
It's a
everyone's
deep
So we
fake of
created
Samir Samat.
Wind down mode.
Everyone's had
You
that
can tell the
choice.
Google Assistant what
Wind
time
down.
you aim to
You
go
wake
to
up
bed.
at 5 in the
And when
morning.
that time arrives, it will switch
you
on
check
Do
your
Not
phone.
Disturb and fade the screen to
Oh.
grayscale.
Oh, I
which
love
is
it.
far less stimulating
This
for the
is something
brain
Kevin
and
Rose
can
was
help
pushing
you
a
set
few
the
months
phone
ago.
down.
If you make your phone
It's such a simple
grayscale,
idea.
it's less
But I found
attractive
it's
and less
amazing
interesting.
how quickly I
This
put
is
my
really
phone
good.
away.
This is, I
when
don't.
all
My
apps
phone
go
is not
back
next
to
to
the
my
days
bed
before color
for
TV.
this reason. I can't
Yeah.
have it.
No.
It's like crack.
That just makes me get up and go get it.
Don't worry. All the
This is
colors
even
return in the
worse.
morning when you wake up.
Love this feature.
Okay.
Wind down.
That was a quick tour of some of the digital well-being features we're bringing to Android P this fall, starting
Nothing
with Google
draconian,
Pixel.
but okay.
Digital well-being is going to
I'm
be
down.
a long-term theme for us, so look for much more to come in the future. Beyond the three themes of intelligence, simplicity, and digital well-being that Dave and I talked about, there are literally hundreds of other improvements coming in
Literally.
Android P. I'm especially excited about the security advancements we've added to the platform, and you can learn more about them at the Android security session on Thursday. But your big question is, that's all great. How do I try some of this stuff? Well, today, we're announcing Android P Beta.
Oh, okay. Here we go.
Signing up.
Give. Where? Give.
And
Typically,
with
you
efforts
do
in
this
Android Oreo
if
to
it's a
make
public
OS
beta.
upgrades easier, Android P Beta is available on Google Pixel
Yeah.
and 7 more manufacturer
Ooh.
flagship devices.
Oh, Essential. I can put this on
Today.
the Essential. Oh, and on my OnePlus. Oh, wow.
Wow. That is
And notice
You can
who's
head over
not
to
there.
this link
Sony.
to find out how to
Oh,
receive the beta
Samsung.
on your device, and please do let
What
us
is
know
the
what
link?
you think.
What's the link?
Okay, that's
This
a wrap.
link
Let's do
Google.com/Android/beta.
Now I'd like to introduce Jen to talk about maps. Thank you.
or Android.com/beta. Android.com/beta works, but it still says developer preview, which is not necessarily what I want.
I finally have a use for that Essential.
Good.
It has changed Nigeria so much, and you can actually be part of it.
Being able to be armed with the knowledge of where you're going, that you're going to be able to get there.
I have to say again, huge benefit in Tokyo. I felt comfortable taking the subway because I had Google Maps. It told me exactly what to do.
Well, I same thing in Rome.
Yeah.
I don't have a SIM chip yet, so it's offline. So I just download the maps and I can navigate
It's
through Rome.
fantastic.
Cool that this is helping people to keep doing
So the public beta has not. I mean, this says caution.
Right.
Developer preview 1 is for app developers only, not intended for daily
That's
or
fine.
consumer
That's
use.
fine. Bring it.
Is that the beta he was talking about?
Yeah. So they have one for the Pixel, Pixel XL, Pixel 2, and Pixel 2 XL right now.
I think you were right. I think the best place to go is
Technology
google.com/android/beta.
to help people in the real world every day has been core to who we are and what we focused on at Google from the very start. Recent advancements
Jen
in AI and
Fitzpatrick
computer
is
vision have
talking
allowed
about
us to
she's,
dramatically improve
with Google
long-standing
Maps,
products like
VP
Google
Product
Maps,
and Engineering.
and have also made possible brand new products like Google Lens.
Oh, good.
Let's start with
Pixel
Google
2
Maps.
XL, opt in.
Maps was built to
Yeah.
assist everyone,
Don't go to the developers
wherever they are
page.
in the world.
Okay.
We've mapped over
I've
220
done it.
countries and territories and put hundreds of millions of businesses and places on the map.
Maps is clearly one of
And in doing
Google's
so,
most
we've given
successful
more than a million
products.
people
Everyone
It's
should
second to
have that.
search
the ability to
only,
travel
maybe
the world
Gmail.
with the confidence that they won't get lost along
I
the
use
way.
Maps more than I use Gmail.
Yeah,
But we're
me
far
too.
from done.
I stopped using
We've been
Gmail.
making maps smarter and more detailed as advancements in AI have accelerated. We're now able to automatically add new addresses, businesses, and buildings that we extract from Street View and satellite imagery directly to the map. This is critical in rural areas, in places without formal addresses, and in fast-changing cities like Lagos here, where we've literally changed the face of the map in the last few years.
Whoa.
Hello, Nigeria.
A lot of people from Lagos there. That's great. That's
They
really
can also
awesome.
tell you if the business you're looking for is open, how busy it is, what the wait time is,
Fitzpatrick's
and even
been
how
at
long
Google
people
for
usually
19
spend there.
years.
Oh my goodness.
Which means
We
she's
can tell
vested.
you before you leave
Fully.
whether parking is going to be easy or difficult, and we can help you find it. And we can now give you different routes based on your mode of transportation, whether you're riding a motorbike or driving
Does
a
that
car.
parking feature work in San
And
Francisco?
by understanding how different types of vehicles move at different speeds, we can make more accurate
I found
traffic
this
predictions
so
for
useful.
everyone.
So useful.
But we've only scratched the surface of what maps can do. We originally designed maps to help you understand where you are and to help you get from here to there. But over the past few years, we've seen our users demand more and more of maps. They're bringing us harder and more complex questions about the world around them, and they're trying to get more done. Today, our users aren't just asking for the fastest route to a place. They also want to know what's happening around them, what the new places to try are, and what locals love in their neighborhood. The world is filled with amazing experiences, like cheering for your favorite team at a sports bar, or a night out with friends or family at a cozy neighborhood bistro. We want to make it easy for you to explore and experience more of what the world has to offer. We've been working hard on an updated version of Google Maps that keeps you in the know on what's new and trending in the areas you care about and helps you find the best place for you based on your context and interests. Let me give you a few examples of what this is going to look like with some help from Sophia. First, we're adding a new tab to Maps called For You. It's designed to tell you what you need to know about the neighborhoods you care about, new places that are opening, what's
So
trending
a little
now,
theme here of
and
Google
personal
kind of enhancing
recommendations.
everything that they do on your
Here, I'm
phone
being told about
based
a
on what
cafe
they
that
already
just
know
opened in my
about you.
area.
Not just location, but things
If
you're
we scroll
interested
down,
in, things you use.
I see a list of the restaurants that are trending this week. This is super useful because with zero work, Maps is giving me ideas to kick me out of my rut and inspire me to try something new.
But I fear change.
But how do I know if a place is really right for me?
Change is scary.
Have you ever had the experience at looking at lots of places, all with 4-star ratings? And you're pretty sure there's some you're going to like a lot and others that maybe aren't quite so great, but you're not sure how to tell which ones? We've created a score called Your Match to help you find more places that you'll love. Your Match uses machine learning
Now that we
to combine
dumped
what
that
Google
stupid
knows about
Zagat
hundreds of
guide,
millions
we can
of
actually
places.
tell you what you want.
That I've added.
Actually, I love Zagat guide, and I'm glad that somebody bought it
Cuisines I've
because
liked, and places that I've been
Google
to.
was not using it
If
appropriately.
you click into the match number, you'll see reasons explaining why it's recommended just for you.
Similar to a
It's
restaurant
your
you
personal
like,
score for places.
and
our
you're
early
interested in
testers
Greek
are telling us
food.
that they love it. So now you can confidently pick the
I
places
don't
that
know
are
if
best
Google
for you.
actually has enough
Whether you're
information
planning
about my
ahead
eating habits
or
to
on the go,
suggest.
you
Oh,
need to make
they
a quick
do.
decision
Don't think
right
they
now.
don't.
Thanks so much, Sophia.
Mine will be, there's another McDonald's 5
Let
miles
me
down
see
the
if
road.
it's not doing it yet.
The For You tab and the Your
to
Match
say it
score
looks good,
are
though.
great examples of how we can help you stay in the know and choose places with confidence. Now, another pain point we often hear from our users is that planning with others can be a real challenge. So we wanted to make it easier to pick a place together. Here's how. Long press on any place to add it to a short list. Now, I'm always up for ramen, but I know my friends have lots of opinions of their own, so I
Oh,
can
okay,
add
this
some
is
more options
hilarious.
to give
This
them
is
some
the,
choices.
where do you want to go? I
When
don't
you've
know,
collected
anywhere.
enough
Where do you want to
places
go?
that you like, share the list with your
Check my
friends
short
to
list.
get their input too. You can easily share with just a couple of taps on any platform that you prefer.
And then everyone gets a vote.
Then, my friends can add more places if they want to, or just vote with one simple click, so we can quickly choose
There
a
you
group
go.
favorite. So now, instead of copying and pasting a bunch of links and sending text back and forth, decisions can be quick, easy, and fun.
You have to assume they have
just a glimpse of some of
literally
what's coming to
hundreds
Maps
of
on both Android
features
and
like this.
iOS
How do they
later
decide
this summer.
which to implement?
And we see this
do
as
they
just the
test?
beginning of what Maps can
They've
do
got to be doing a lot
help
of
you
A/B
make better
testing.
They must
decisions on
be,
the
yeah.
go and to experience
If you
the
go into
world in new
Craigslist right
ways,
now, there are
from your local
always user
neighborhood
experience
to the far-flung
tests going
corners
on
of
at
the
the Google
world.
campus.
Right.
This discovery experience wouldn't be possible without small businesses. Because when we help people discover new places, we're also helping local businesses be discovered by new customers. These
That's
are
a street
businesses
I
like
wanna
the
live
bakery
on.
in your neighborhood or the
At a
barber shop
taro
around
place,
the
a
corner.
barber shop.
And Johnny's
The
Roadhouse
fabric of our
Music.
communities. And we're deeply committed to helping them succeed with Google. Every month, we connect users to businesses nearby more than 9 billion times,
That's at Italy.
including over 1 billion phone calls and 3 billion direction requests to their
Wow.
stores. In the last
That
few
is a
months, we've been adding
phenomenal
even more
amount of
tools for
data.
local
Yeah.
businesses to communicate and engage with their customers in meaningful ways. You can now
Now
see
you know why the
daily
TPUs
posts on
are
events
water
or
cooled.
offers from many of your favorite businesses. And soon you'll be able to
Tensor
get
overflow.
updates from them in the new For You stream too. And when you're ready, you can easily book an appointment or place an order with just one click. We're always inspired to see how technology brings opportunities to everyone. The reason we've invested over the last 13 years in mapping every road, every building, and every business is because it matters. When we map the world, communities come alive, and opportunities arise in places we never would have thought possible. And as computing evolves, we're going to keep challenging ourselves to think about new ways that we can help you get things done in the real world. I'd like to invite Aparna to stage to share how we're doing this, both in Google Maps and beyond.
Now, when we got the inside of the brick house photographed and mapped out, we actually had to pay for that.
Yeah, that was a third party that does that, and I think that's still that way.
The cameras in our smartphones,
Aparna
they connect us to the world around
Pragada.
us in a very immediate way. They help us save a moment, capture memories, and communicate. But with advances in AI and computer vision that you heard Sundar talk about, we said, what if the cameras can do more? What if the cameras can help us answer questions?
She is the VP
Questions
for
like,
AR and
where am I
VR
going?
at
Or
Google.
what's that in front of me?
Vision-based products.
Let me paint a familiar picture. You exit the subway, you're already running late for an appointment or a tech company conference, that happens. And then your phone says, head south on Market Street. So what do?
Formerly a technical
One problem,
assistant to the
you have
CEO
no idea
at
which
Google.
way is south. So you look down at the phone, you're looking at that blue
Product
dot on
manager
the
for
map,
Google Now,
and you're starting
Google
to walk
Search,
to see if it's moving in the same
YouTube.
direction.
She's been there
If
a
it's
long
not,
time.
you're turning around. We've all been there. So we asked ourselves, well, what if the camera can help us here?
Oh, that would be huge.
Our teams have been working really hard to combine
I
the
have
power of the
this
camera,
is a big
the
problem
computer
for me.
vision, with Street View and Maps.
I'm always going the
to
wrong way.
reimagine
Well, I mean, this is what
walking
Tango was
navigation.
supposed to fix.
Right.
So
But,
here's
well, maybe
how
this is
it would
Tango.
look like
Crashed.
in Google Maps. Let's take a look.
Maybe this is some of that.
You open the camera.
Oh, hallelujah. Oh, lordy, lordy. So for those listening, there was live video on the screen. Basically, it's AR on the phone.
And they put the directions on top of the reality.
Of what you're seeing. So you point it in a direction, it says turn right here.
There, in front of you.
That's
Notice
nice.
that you also see the map, so that way you stay oriented. You can start to see nearby places, so you see what's around you.
It's funny because they showed this last year at Google I/O and it never came
And just
out.
for fun, our team's been playing with an idea of adding
And
a
there's a
helpful
fox.
guide.
Oh, you can follow the fox.
So that it can show you the way.
And the fox will run you into a
there she
pole.
goes.
What does the
Pretty
fox?
cool.
See, this is awesome
Enabling
until they
these
start
kinds of
selling ad
experiences,
space and
though,
banner ads start
GPS
dropping
alone
down
doesn't
everywhere.
cut it. So that's why we've been working
I
on
don't know if
what
they'll do
we
that.
call
Google seems fairly
VPS,
sensitive to that whole
Visual
idea.
Positioning System, that can estimate precise positioning
that is
and
Tango.
orientation.
Yeah.
One way to think
They're
about
not
the
gonna
key
abandon
insight here
Tango.
is,
They're gonna-
just
they're
like
gonna-
you and I, when we are in an unfamiliar place, you're looking for visual landmarks.
I think
looking
what
for
happened
the
is that the
storefront,
public-facing
building facades, etc.
Tango
And it's the same idea.
did get
VPS
replaced.
uses the visual features in the environment to do the same.
By a much
so that way
simpler,
we help you figure out exactly
not
where you
hardware.
are.
They've just
and
eliminated
get you
the
exactly
dedicated
where you
Tango
need to go.
cameras.
Pretty cool.
Not hardware
They've kept some of
required.
the
So that's an
software.
example how we are using the camera to help you in maps. But we think the camera can also help you do more with what you see. That's why we started working on Google Lens. Now, people are already using it for all sorts of answers, and especially when the questions are difficult to describe in words. Answers like, oh, that cute dog in the park, that's a Labradoodle. Or this building
This is
in
another
Chicago
thing they
is the Wrigley
pushed
building,
hard last
and
year.
it's 425 feet tall.
Started to emerge, but
Or
I
as
don't.
my 9-year-old son says these days, that's more than 60 Kevin Durants.
Again with the Kevin
Now
Durant.
today, Lens
do
is
they
a
have some sort of
capability
agreement
in
with
Google
KD?
products like
They
Photos
seem to
and
really
the
think
Assistant.
that
But we're very
tech
excited
people are
that starting
sports ball
next year,
fans. I don't.
Lens will be integrated
Watch.
right inside the camera.
Look at
app
all these
on the Pixel,
supporters.
the new LG
Sony,
G7,
Motorola, Nokia.
and a lot more devices.
No Samsung.
This way,
Asus.
it makes it super easy for you to use Lens on things right in front of you, already in the camera. Very excited to see this. Now, like voice, vision is a fundamental shift in computing for us. And it's a multi-year journey, but we're already making a lot of progress. So today, I thought I'd show you 3 new features in Google Lens that can give you more answers to more types of questions more quickly. Shall we take a look? All right. Okay, first, Lens can now recognize and understand words. Words are everywhere. If you think about it, traffic signs, posters, restaurant menus, business cards. But now, with smart text selection, you can now connect the words you see with the answers and actions you need. So you can do things like copy and paste from the real world directly into your phone.
That's
just like that.
That's lousy. So that's instant OCR. That's pretty nice.
And by the way, it was skewed, so it corrected the skew and then did OCR.
Words into a page of answers. So for example, you're looking at a restaurant menu. You can quickly tap around, figure out every dish, what it looks like, what are all the ingredients, etc. By the way, as a
you know what they can
vegetarian,
do with this as well? If people are taking pictures of the menus, they can now put that information in maps. Here's the menu for that
Now,
restaurant.
in these examples, Lens is not just understanding the shape of characters and the letters visually. It's also actually trying to get at the meaning and the context behind these words. And that's where all the language understanding that you heard Scott talk about really comes in handy. Okay, the next feature I want to talk about is called style match. And the idea is this. Sometimes your question is not, oh, what's that exact thing? Instead, your question is, what are things like it? You're at your friend's place, you check out this trendy looking lamp, and you want to know things that match that style.
Image search.
And now Lens can help you.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Or if you see an outfit that catches your eye, you can simply open the camera, tap on any item, and find out, of course,
this is kind of the reverse
like
of Project Tango. Project Tango, the demo was always, what would a lamp look like in this place?
All the things and browse around that match that style.
Vision is big. I mean, this is huge, and this means you don't have to wear a HoloLens and
There's
get
two parts
involved
to
in
it.
something.
Of course, Lens has to search through millions and millions
It's like
of
the
items.
camera, sure.
But
A standalone camera has better quality, but this is
search.
always in your pocket.
But
Sure, a HoloLens is better,
The other
but this is
part
always in
actually
your pocket.
complicates things, which is there can be different textures, shapes, sizes, angles, lighting conditions, etc. So it's a tough technical problem, but we're making a lot of progress here and really excited about it. So the last thing I want to tell you about today is how we're making Lens work in real time. So as you saw in the style match example, you start to see, you open the camera, and you start to see Lens surface proactively all the information instantly. And it
that's
even
new.
anchors that information.
It's one reason
to
I
things that
don't
you
use
see.
Lens that often is because I have to
Now,
remember
this
to
kind
do
of
it.
thing, where it's sifting
Right.
through
But
billions
if it
of
says,
words,
I
phrases,
already know
places,
something
things
about
just
this.
in real time to give you what you need, not possible without machine learning. So we are using both on-device intelligence, but also tapping into the power of cloud TPUs, which we announced
Okay, I
last
get
year
that. So
at
the
I/O,
on-device intelligence
to
would
get this
say,
done.
I've identified
Really
this
excited.
object as a
And
book,
over time,
and then send a
what we wanna
picture of
do
that
is
to the
actually
cloud
overlay
for
the
machine
live
learning to say,
results
it's this particular book.
directly on top of things like storefronts, street signs, or
That
a
makes
concert
sense
poster.
because, of course, you have
So
limited
you can simply
capability in
point
the
your
phone,
phone
but if you could do some of
at
it
a
ahead of
concert
time.
poster of Charlie Puth, and the music video just starts to play.
Wow.
Just like that.
Wow.
This is an
That's
example
nice.
of how the camera is not just answering questions, but it is putting the answers right where
I
the
don't know,
questions
Leo.
are.
You're walking past
and
a
it's
poster
very
for
exciting.
Infinity Wars, and a spoiler just starts playing.
Smart
No,
text selection,
not gonna happen.
style match, real-time results, all coming to Lens in the next few weeks. Please check them out.
Next couple of weeks. I
Okay,
look
there's
forward to
nothing
it.
here that's revolutionary, but
So those
they
are some
have improved it.
examples
I
of
kind of
how
like
That's
that.
what it feels like. They're
Google
nibbling
AI
at the
camera
nibbling away at the
Get things
edges.
done in the world around you.
Because every time it's a
When it
brand new
comes to
feature, it
applying
means,
AI,
okay, this won't really be ready for
mapping, and
years.
computer vision to solving problems in the real world, well, it doesn't get more real than self-driving cars.
And
so to tell you
here
all
we go
about
with
it,
cars.
please join me in welcoming the CEO of Waymo, John Krafchick. Thank you.
So, John, just back from Arizona?
Oh, please.
Hello,
That was
everyone.
Uber. Come on.
We're so delighted to join our friends at Google on stage here today.
He's very
And
colorful.
while this is my first time at Shoreline, it actually isn't the first time for our self-driving cars. You
Nope.
see, back in 2009,
You didn't know it.
in the parking lot just outside
That
this
person
theater,
at the wheel.
some
That's
of the
not a
very
person.
first tests of self-driving technology
The
took
new
place.
Google Android.
It was right here
Literally.
where a group of Google engineers, roboticists, and researchers set out on a crazy mission to prove that cars could actually drive themselves. Now, back then, most people thought self-driving cars were nothing more than science fiction. But this dedicated team of dreamers
Clearly, that's nothing
believed that
more than
self-driving vehicles
science
could make
fiction.
transportation
Some sort
safer,
of fanciful
easier,
technology.
and more accessible for everyone. And so, the Google self-driving car project was born. Now, fast forward to 2018, and the Google self-driving car project is now its own independent Alphabet company called Waymo. And we've moved well beyond tinkering and research. Today, Waymo is the only company in the world with a fleet of fully self-driving cars.
That's sweet.
With no one in the driver's seat on public roads. Now, members of the public in Phoenix, Arizona have already started to experience some of these fully self-driving rides too. Let's have a look.
Okay, day one of self-driving. Are you ready?
We should say that the Waymo vehicle that was just recently involved in that accident in Arizona was in manual mode at the time, and it wasn't its fault.
Right. Oh, they had one in Arizona too. I didn't hear about that. I was
just happened.
Not around. I did see the pictures though. Yeah.
Waiting for it.
It looked like somebody hit it.
Yeah, it was one car hitting another car, and then that car ricocheting into the Waymo.
Well, that's not the Waymo's fault.
You can't avoid that.
No.
That's just physics.
That's just more. Now, see, don't do that, kids. Okay, the guy was napping in the passenger seat. I guess you can do that.
Well, in Arizona, yeah, they've.
Don't do it on your Tesla. They'll take it away from you.
Rightfully so.
It's pretty cool. All of these people are part of what we call the Waymo Early Rider Program, where members of the public use our self-driving cars in their daily lives. Over the last year,
Can I
had a chance to talk to some of
me?
these early riders.
There's no
and their
restrictions in
stories
Italy. I'll
are
take
actually
one.
pretty inspiring.
Me?
One of our early riders, Neha, witnessed a tragic accident when she was just a young teen, which scared her into never getting her driver's license. But now she takes a Waymo to work every day.
That
and there's
doesn't
Jim
scare
and
her?
Barbara, who no longer have to worry
I would take
about
a
losing their
Waymo
ability
every
to
day.
get around
I would.
as they
I'll
grow
sign up.
older. Then there's the Jackson family. Waymo helps them all
I
navigate
calculated
their
it this
jam-packed
morning. I've
schedules,
driven over the
taking
Golden Gate
Kyla
Bridge more
and
than
Joseph to
you
and from
drive a lot.
2,300 times.
practices
drive
and
a
meetups
lot.
with friends. So it's not about science fiction. When we talk about building self-driving technology, these are the people we're building it for. In 2018, self-driving cars are already transforming the way they live and move. So Phoenix will be the first stop for Waymo's driverless transportation service, which is launching later this year.
Oh boy.
Soon, everyone will be able to call Waymo
I
using
don't know
our
about
app,
you, but I would.
and a
I would
fully
love
self-driving
to have
car will pull up
a driverless taxi.
with no one in the driver's seat to whisk them away to their destination. And that's just the beginning. Because at Waymo, we're not just building a better car. We're building a better driver.
What?
And that driver can be used in all kinds of applications.
And that driver is not
Ride
you.
hailing, logistics,
anybody
personal
but you.
cars, connecting people to public transportation. And we see our
Actually, I'd
technology
love a self-driving
as
RV.
an enabler
Now that would
for
be
all
awesome.
these different industries.
Just
And
go
we
back
intend
and
to
forth.
partner with lots of different companies to make this self-driving future a reality for everyone. Now, we can enable this future because of the breakthroughs and investments we've made in AI. Now, back in those early days, Google was perhaps the only company in the world investing in both AI and self-driving technology at the same time. So when Google started making major advances in machine learning, with speech recognition, computer
but
vision,
you can't
image
really
search, and more,
do self-driving technology
Waymo was
without
in a unique
AI.
position to benefit.
So if they were somebody else was
For
investing
example,
in
back
self-driving technology,
2013, we were looking for breakthrough
They're doing
technology
sense. They were
to
doing
help us
AI.
with pedestrian detection. Luckily for
Pedestrian
us,
detection
Google
is a
was
good
already
thing.
deploying a new technique.
Yeah,
called
you should
deep
probably know
learning,
where those are.
a type of machine learning that allows you to create neural networks with multiple layers to solve more complex problems.
this is one area where
So,
I think we're starting to feel like
our
maybe we
self-driving
pushed too far
engineers
too fast,
teamed
but
up
maybe
with
not. I don't know.
researchers from the Google Brain team. And within a matter of months, we reduced the error rate for detecting pedestrians by 100x.
I mean, you can make the software better,
That's right,
but right
not
now the
100%,
sensors can't
but
see
100
everything they
times.
need to see.
And today, Today, AI plays an even greater role in our self-driving system, unlocking our ability to go truly self-driving. Now, to tell you more about how machine learning makes Waymo the safe and skilled driver that you see on the road today, I'd like to introduce you to Dimitri.
Good morning, everyone. It's great to be here. Now, at Waymo, AI touches every part of our system, from perception to prediction to decision-making to mapping and so much more.
This is Dmitry
To be a
Dolgov.
capable
He is the
and
CTO
safe
and
driver,
Vice President of
our cars
Engineering
need
at
a
Waymo.
deep semantic understanding of the world around them.
He was,
Our vehicles
before he
need
got to Google, he was
understand
with
and
the Toyota
classify
Research
objects,
Institute, Stanford
interpret
and
their
Toyota
movements,
Research Institute,
reason about intent,
and then the
and
University of
predict what
Michigan.
they will do
So,
in the future.
yeah, he's been doing this a while.
They need to understand how each object interacts with everything else. And finally, our cars need to use all of that information to act in a safe and predictable manner. So needless to say, there's a lot that goes into building a self-driving car. And today, I want to tell you about two areas where AI has made a huge impact: perception and prediction. So first, perception. Detecting and classifying objects is a key part of driving.
This is the
Pedestrians
sensor
in particular
package.
pose a unique challenge because they come in all kinds of shapes, postures, and sizes. So for example, here's a construction worker picking out of a manhole with most of his body obscured. Here's a pedestrian crossing the street.
I love these
concealed
videos
by a
they
plank
do
of wood.
of what the car
And here,
sees.
Like, I'm looking at it, I
we
have no idea what that
pedestrians
is.
Yeah.
who are dressed in inflatable dinosaur costumes.
But it
Now,
knew.
we haven't taught our cars about the Jurassic period, but can still classify them correctly. We can
As
detect
what?
and classify these pedestrians because we apply deep nets to a combination of sensor data. Traditionally, in computer vision, neural networks are used just on camera images and video.
By the way,
But
this
our
is
cars
exactly the
have a lot
accent
more than just cameras.
you want your neural
We also have
network
lasers
programmer to have.
to measure distance and shapes of objects, and radars to measure their speed. And by applying machine learning to this combination of sensor data, we can accurately detect pedestrians in all forms in real time. A second area where machine learning has been incredibly powerful for Waymo
At CES,
is
they were
predicting
showing
how people
LiDAR
will behave on
arrays
the
that
road.
they could build into
Now,
lighting fixtures
sometimes
in
Yeah,
cars.
yeah,
People
we're gonna.
do
I think you're gonna
exactly
see this
what you expect
everywhere.
them to.
Get that hump off the
And
top.
sometimes
This is going to be.
they don't.
This is clearly
Take this
where
example
everybody's
of a car
investing.
running a red light.
Oh, see, I mean, look, that's a human being.
Unfortunately, we see this kind of thing more than we'd like.
Well, and that's the
But
problem.
let me break this down from the car's point
It's
of
hard
view.
to do
Our
self-driving
car is about
vehicles
to
with
proceed
humans
straight
in
through an
the
intersection.
mix.
We
So
have a
for the
clear
audio
green
listeners,
light,
that was a car
and
clearly
cross-traffic
running a
is stopped with red
stale
light.
red.
Yeah.
But just as we enter the intersection, all the way in the right corner, we see a vehicle coming fast. Our models understand that this is unusual behavior for a vehicle that should be decelerating.
You should be
We predict
decelerating.
the car will run the red light.
You're going
So
to
we
run red
preemptively
light.
slow down.
So we are calling
which you can see here
police.
with this red fence.
Look at
And
that.
This gives the red light runner room to pass in front of us, while it barely avoids hitting
So
another
what we
vehicle.
need are self-driving police cars.
And we can detect this kind of
Yes.
anomaly
Automatically pull people
because
like
we've
that over.
trained our
This is
ML
really-
models
this is
using
great.
lots of examples.
I love this tech.
Today, our fleet has self-driven more than
I'm
6
ready for it.
million miles on public roads.
It feels like
which
these
means we've
guys
seen
have the
hundreds of
clear
millions of
lead,
real-world
well over
interactions.
anybody else.
To put that in perspective, we drive more miles each day
They're
than
so
the
far
average
ahead.
American drives in a year.
It made Uber look bad, and it
Yeah.
made people realize
Now,
Tesla
it takes
doesn't
more
actually have
than
self-driving
good
tech.
good
They've got
algorithms
assistive.
to build a self-driving car.
It's
We also need
fancy
really
cruise control
powerful
at best.
infrastructure. And at Waymo, we use the TensorFlow ecosystem and Google's data centers, including TPUs, to train our neural networks. And with TPUs, we can now train our nets up to 15 times more efficiently. We also use this powerful infrastructure to validate our models in simulation. And in this virtual world, we're driving the equivalent of 25,000 cars all day, every day.
See, that's good.
Told we've
to work
driven
on the
more than
models,
5
but the car needs to
billion
have all
miles
the
in
processing power it
simulation.
needs in the cabin.
And with this kind of scale,
Yeah, 'cause
both
if you're
in
not
training
online, what
and validation
happens?
of our models, we can quickly and efficiently teach our cars new skills. And one skill we started to tackle is self-driving in difficult weather, such as snow, as you see here. And today, for the first
Plotting
time,
snow.
I want to show you a behind-the-scenes
Yeah, what
look
happens when the
at what it's like for
sensors
our
are all
cars to
blinded by
self-drive in snow.
a snowdrift?
Well, they're less blinded than you are, aren't they? Right?
Whoa. Okay, right now what we're seeing is all the data points being picked up by a self-driving car in a snowy
A
environment.
lot of noise. A lot of
When
noise.
we apply machine learning to this data, this is what
The
our car
purple
sees.
goes away. That's amazing.
We can clearly identify each of these vehicles,
That is.
even through all of the
So they've
sensor noise.
applied machine learning, and it's basically
quicker we can
cleared
unlock
up,
these types
like
of
you said,
advanced
The noise.
It sees better than I do.
quicker we can bring our self-driving cars
That's the,
to
really
more
ultimately
places
that's the
around
key to all of this. Is,
sitting near
it's just,
you.
they drive better than we do.
Can't wait to make our self-driving cars available to more people, moving us closer to a future where roads are safer, easier, and more accessible for everyone. Thanks, everyone. So
I would actually like to hear more about this. I wish this was longer.
Yeah. You're watching our live coverage of Google I/O.
Please join me in welcoming back Jen to close out the morning session.
And our broadcast today brought to you by those good folks at WordPress. Reach more customers when you build your business website
Thanks,
at
Dimitri.
WordPress.com.
It's a great reminder of how AI can play a role in helping people in new ways all the time. I started at Google as an engineering intern almost 19 years ago.
That's amazing.
And what struck me from almost the very first day I walked in the door
Straight out of Stanford, by the way.
was the commitment to push the boundaries on what was possible with technology, combined with a deep focus on building products that had a real impact on people's lives. And as the years have passed, I've seen time and again how technology can play a really transformative role, from the earliest days of things like search and maps to new experiences like the Google Assistant. As I look at the Google of today, I see those same early values alive and well. We continue to work hard, together with all of you, to build products for everyone, and products that matter. We constantly aspire to raise the bar for ourselves even higher, and to contribute to the world and to society in a responsible way. Now, we know that to truly build for everyone, we need lots of perspectives in the mix. And so that's why we broadened I/O this year to include an even wider range of voices. We've invited additional speakers over the next 3 days to talk to you all about the broader role that technology can play in everything from promoting digital well-being to empowering NGOs to achieve their missions. Along with, of course, the hundreds of technical talks that you've come to expect from us at I/O and that we hope you can enjoy and learn from as well. Welcome to I/O 2018. Please enjoy, and I hope you all
love it
find
that
some
she
inspiration
closes
in the
it
next
out.
few
I think
days
that's so
to
appropriate.
keep building good things
well done.
for everyone.
You know what?
Thank you.
That's how you do a keynote. Microsoft, please take note.
About an hour and 50 minutes. Lots of good stuff. Nothing spectacularly new, but yet some very... We'll just wrap up a list of... I hope you were taking notes of what they just announced in a moment. I do want to thank our sponsor, WordPress, for making our coverage of Google I/O's keynote available. In just a few minutes, we will go to This Week in Google. Jeff Jarvis is going to get in position if he can. Stacey Higginbotham will be joining us as well. WordPress is a way to reach more customers, to build your business, to build your personal profile. I use WordPress for LeoLaporte.com, my blog, because, well, I started using WordPress when it first came out years ago, but I was running a self-hosted version. That was a lot of work. As soon as I discovered that I could do it all on WordPress.com, and they'd take care of updating, they'd take care of all the technical issues, all I had to do was put content up there. I said, I'm in. And boy, when they started at just $4 a month, it's not expensive. I'm really happy, really proud to say my daughter has just started her WordPress blog. I've been encouraging her to do it for a long time. And of course, I said, I'll hook it up. I've got AbbyLaporte.com. I'll hook it up. I haven't done that yet, so don't go there right now, but soon I will. It's easy to do. That's one of the nice things about WordPress. They've got e-commerce, a simple and effective buy button to a complete online store. It's there for you. And, of course, their customer support team's there for you, too. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, Monday through Friday. They're there on weekends, too, and they're great. I've used them many, many times. It's no wonder that 30% of all the websites in the world run on WordPress. By the way, that's not just a testimonial to how great WordPress is. It's good for you, too, because it means all those tools out there, all the other stuff supports WordPress. Of course it does, because WordPress is dominant. You'll be able to find great tools to work with WordPress on every platform. Get started today with 15% off your new plan purchase at WordPress.com/twit. Create a great website. It is the place to make your website. WordPress.com/twit and get 15% off right now. We thank him so much for making it possible for Father Robert Ballecer, the Digital Jesuit, and me to do this live coverage of Google I/O. WordPress.com/twit. You sat in yesterday for a 3.5-hour keynote from Microsoft.
Let's be clear.
Build conference. Well, I took out 15 minutes for the exercise session. They had to insert in the middle because people were, they were falling asleep.
Deep vein thrombosis.
I do think they touched. It's funny how much overlap there was between what Google said and what Microsoft said yesterday.
There were some things that I think every developer conference is going to have to cover at the start of the conference. That's AWS, that's Build, that's Google I/O, that's WWDC, and that is we will treat your data better. They have to make that promise because that's been in the news so often that, we've given up all this data and now nefarious things are happening. So you've got Microsoft, you've got now Google, both saying, we understand this is sensitive data and we are going to be responsible with it and we're going to help our developers be responsible with it. That's just a simple message.
And it has, it kind of echoes what we've been hearing more and more in general from the world around us, is that if you're a developer, if you're a coder, if you're creating technology, you need to be responsible for the technology you're creating. You can't just say, well, I'm going to create it, I'm not going to worry about it, because it's so easy to weaponize big data and machine learning and make it addictive. And I think Google, and by the way, that was something we expected Google would talk a little bit about, but they actually spent a significant amount of stage time talking about how the next version of Android, Android P, would protect you from yourself.
Right. With digital wellness, basically.
Digital wellness. I thought that was really interesting. A lot of new features that do depend on Google's knowledge of you. While they said, they paid lip service, I guess, to being ethical, they didn't talk about privacy particularly. And I guess it makes sense if you're Google to say, look, Apple, they don't say this out loud, but there are companies that are going to not be as effective because they're going to respect your privacy. But we've decided that we're going to use what we know about you to give you really useful stuff. And they showed really useful stuff.
And in that part, both Microsoft and Google are working on the same thing. How do we give you a better representation of the news? But they've come at it slightly different angles. They're both going to use AI, or what they're calling AI. But Microsoft has promised that they're going to partisanize the data. They're going to try to make it as neutral as possible using AI to make sure that they're not giving a far right or a far left
we know
slant.
that doesn't work very well.
It doesn't work really well. Google's got a different thing. They're going to show you what you want. Then as you dig, they just give you the whole story. These are all of the voices that are speaking about that particular story.
Yeah.
It's going to require you to do it more critical thinking, but I think that's probably better in the long run.
I'm hoping we can get Jeff for a Twig today, because that new... They took, what they did is, that it looks like Google News and Weather has not been changed and probably will be deprecated. They took Google Play Newsstand, which was a strange hybrid of subscribing to stuff, buying magazines, and news. And they've really separated the two. The features are still there. There's a page for subscribing, a nice page, but I think a very nice job in curated news on the front page. And I think that is an impressive improvement.
Another interesting thing about the whole news push was not just that it's a better app and it looks like it's going to be a better picture of particular stories, but they did emphasize that this is going to be available internationally, which means it's going to roll out in markets that Google has had some serious legal trouble with, specifically in Europe, with the EU suing Google, and then Google basically saying, fine, we're out of news.
Right.
I think this is that olive branch saying, we'd like to come back, and oh, by the way,
we want to do it right.
We want to do it right. You're going to get paid.
And of course, that's what Facebook and Apple are also saying. I think that's a good trend. They a lot of, as always with these events, a lot of sizzle. They showed, for instance, John Legend recording new voices for Google Assistant, the new sounding voices in Google Assistant that are much more human.
6 new voices.
They also showed how Assistant would be able to follow on and have a conversation once you do the trigger word, something Amazon did earlier. I think a lot of sizzle. There are things they didn't mention, though, and I'm kind of interested. No mention of Android Wear. Everybody was wearing an Android Wear watch, but no mention at all of Android Wear. No mention at all of Chrome OS or Chromebooks. Now, presumably, at other sessions during the developer conference, they'll talk about these things.
But they didn't even hint. This wasn't even, oh, and look at this cool thing on a new Chromebook.
No mention of progressive web apps specifically, although they did show the new slice feature in Android P that will allow an app to kind of have a presence in its notifications that you could work with.
Well, with that means Google has officially talked about progressive web apps more than Microsoft did yesterday.
Yeah, I was really surprised because really it's Microsoft and Google that are pushing this, and it's in their interest. Frankly, it's in Apple's interest a little less because Apple would like to really have force you to use an iPhone. But both Microsoft and Google understand that they live in a world where more people are using iPhones than are using their devices, and they want to make sure that app developers can develop for all platforms, including Windows, including Chrome, including Android, and PWA, Progressive Web Apps, gives Android developers of any stripe that capability. I don't think they've backed down on that, but maybe that's just too geeky a subject.
I think they're just not going to signal it as much. And they did the same thing with AR. I mean, AR was a big push for the last 2-3 years.
Right.
And Project Tango kind of crashed and burned.
Right.
Well,
they decided that for the public, they weren't going to sell hard. Nobody was going to make hardware that required, it was too expensive because it required these extra cameras. So they did kind of what Apple did, which is make a kit, an AR kit that was dumbed down, but at least gave you some AR capabilities. They showed it off in the Google camera.
Right. Well, and they actually showed a usable feature. This wasn't, we're going to put a dinosaur in your living room.
I love this Maps feature where they actually add a view of the street with the map superimposed on it, so you could see that you're pointed in the right direction, going in the right direction. Yeah, and they showed a fox that you could potentially follow. The other sizzly thing that I'm somewhat skeptical about is they showed Google Assistant having real conversations with real people in very challenging, difficult environments, making an appointment for a hairdresser, trying to make and failing a restaurant reservation. And they said, these are real calls. We have many, many more. I don't know if that's going to be a product soon, but that was very impressive. And that's the kind of progress you're looking for, where you have real human voices, that it seems like you're actually talking to somebody, and they actually seem to understand, and this is the question, is how well they really do, what's going on, and respond appropriately. That's what we talk about when we talk about AI and we talk about assistants.
That's an actual assistant.
That's an actual assistant.
That's not a voice agent that can turn my music on. That's me
really
delegating a task that then gets fulfilled by an assistant. That's next level. Now, as you said, it could be a while before we actually get to play with that. But when we do get it, I'm going to be making reservations everywhere.
Yeah.
I just want to see how it handles.
See how it works.
Yeah.
They talked about kids' safety online, Family Link, a new feature in Android P. Responded a little bit obliquely to the YouTube issues with kids watching inappropriate videos because of the automatic recommendation engine. YouTube will now have take a break reminders as well.
Well, I like that about the digital wellness part.
I love that.
They could have been super heavy-handed and said, well, we're just going to lock you out. This was sort of like, no, you know what? We think if we give you the information, you will act appropriately. If we tell you you've been watching YouTube for 14 hours today, you're going to stop.
Yeah.
If we give you the option to say, hey, you know what? Don't disturb me except for emergencies for the next 8 hours, that you'll actually activate that. I kind of like that approach.
One of the features of digital well-being is you say, what do they call that? Wind down, I think it was. That you say, wind me down at 10 p.m., and the phone will go into do not disturb mode, but will also go into a monochrome dimmed mode so that it's just less attractive to you. I thought that was pretty cool. I mean, none of these things are things you couldn't do with other apps, existing apps already, but I thought that was pretty cool. They did mention a number of partners with the new Android P features, including Nokia, Vivo, OnePlus,
and Essential, but
Sony and Oppo, but not
Samsung
at all.
Which is weird, right? I mean, you figured that would be the partner you want on board all the time.
I think there's a fork in the road, and maybe we've hit it between Google and Samsung. Samsung sells more Android phones than anybody else by a huge amount.
But I mean, they're also invested in their own launcher. Right. They're really invested. I thought they'd let it die by now, but they're continuing to support Bixby.
Right.
So obviously they've got a fork that they want to follow, and Google's not with it.
Yeah. I think overall a nice keynote. Nothing, no hardware announcements. Yep. Again, no Chromebook or Chrome OS announcements. No Android Wear announcements. It was really mostly about Assistant, Waymo. We just saw the long segment on Waymo, on Maps, and incremental improvements. I think this is a chance. A lot of companies have done this with their developer conferences. During the keynote, there's a chance to talk to the general mainstream audience, the press. Mm-hmm. They'll get much more geeky, I'm sure, in the breakout sessions and so forth. I think Google did a better job than Microsoft. It's a shame they're so close together because that's going to be the inevitable comparison. But they didn't announce anything earth-shattering or world-changing.
I think we're starting to see sort of like a TikTok cycle from Google, and they realized
we said that last year. I think it's now tick
tock, maybe. But that's not necessarily bad, because what was happening in all these conferences where you would always get a huge handout of hardware and a rollout of 50 new apps and 50 new great features was nothing would happen.
Right.
if you stay with the feature set, people will actually develop for it rather than waiting for the next version.
Well, Lens is a good example. This is something they announced last year. It's been in the in their phone for some time. Hard to see, hard to surface because you'd have to know and go for it and press that Lens button that wasn't obvious. Now it's going to be a little bit more forward looking. It's got some nice features. I was really impressed that you could cut and paste text from Lens.
From the real world into the digital
real-time, real-world OCR. So a lot of nice features. I'm very excited about the new Maps features. I look forward to those. And I think really of all the things they showed, the one that you can do today is the new Google News. And I'm impressed as heck by that. I think they did a great job with that. Father Robert Ballecer, the digital Jesuit, you've been working overtime because I've been on vacation. You've been taking my
always my pleasure.
Seat every show practically.
I'll come back anytime you go on vacation.
Thank you. I'm glad we had we had another keynote today that was a little bit more fast-paced than yesterday's, but thank you for doing that yesterday, Willie Sischmeiser. We're going to wrap this thing up. If you're watching live this week in Google and Security Now, still to come, and we have moved iOS Today and MacBreak Weekly to tomorrow. Yeah, because we couldn't do them today, so we will do those two shows. We'll do the Mac stuff tomorrow. Thanks for being here. Thanks for joining us. Thanks to WordPress.com for supporting our special coverage of this Google I/O 2018 keynote. I'm Leo Laporte. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.